All right. So we're going to be just going through some comic books. I've decided to do this on this channel. By the way, my name is Jamie. This is the channel Thrift on Fire. If you're new here, I'm normally not going live very often. So I'm going to show you some of the ones. I know this is more for people who watch this later, but I bought a big comic book buy. We're just going to go through a few. I just needed to put my laptop in Do Not Disturb here so I don't get constant emails, which tends to be, here we go. Do Not Disturb. There we go. Should be good now. So these are the ones that I've found so far. I don't know how many total I have. I got like 4 or 5 big crates like this. You know, a whole bunch more about this size. I never actually ever counted them. These are the ones that I found so far that are going to be graded. Most of these are 80s and 90s. I'll just show them quick. This is a Green Lantern. Some of these, if I set them in to be graded, could be okay. Like 50 to 100 Canadian, that is, a Green Lantern. Get the idea here. Most of the ones, I just kind of looked at the box that I'm going to be going through here. So I'm just going to try to comp them on eBay and pull out any that are good. Good chance that we could find none. I've been through a couple boxes where I haven't found anything good whatsoever. Wonder Woman there. Another Wonder Woman. I think this one was a pretty good one. Some of these might be slightly questionable, or I could have put in here for another reason, but for the most part, these ones are the more valuable ones if they were graded, obviously, right? Okay, I think you get the point here. There's a bunch more in here just like that, but we're going to go through a bunch of Justice League ones. I'm pretty much try to fix this on my computer. Open up the comments. Okay, so I'm basically doing this just so that I actually do it. I've been meaning to do this for a while again, and I've had so much stuff going on. If you watch my channel, all my free time I've been putting into working on the shed that I'm building, like a reselling storage type shed. Well, I didn't build it. I'm just I'm finishing it. It was pre-built, and I'm doing the interior and stuff. But yeah, it's just we're gonna go through a bunch here. I'll pull out some. These are all, are they stuck together? Who knows? So this one has about 3 inside here. So I do have some other not mailers, some cards. So I'm gonna just put them in the right card, and then we'll look them up. You know, I'll hang it here for, I don't know. I was gonna do this anyway, so I just thought it'd be funner to hang out online and do this. Okay, Justice League number 1. What year is this? Some of them are easier to tell than others. Not that. Oh, April 1989. So this is in 1989. We will try to look it up here in a second. Looks like there's 3 of them in here, so we'll just get them all separated. The person I bought these from, there's a lot of just running sets here. So yeah, Justice League Europe. I don't know. We'll look them up. You guys can look them up with me if you want. That's totally cool too. Justice League Euro 2, and it looks like 3 will be the other one. So I'm just going to get these on card. Some kind here. It's got a board. Card. Let's see. This has been, I've sold a few of these on eBay in lots as I've been selling them. I have also took them to my antique booth. Haven't sold any comic books there. This one, I might try to save the card, but the bag is oversized. I don't really like it. We'll just get rid of that one. I also thought most of these were already bagged too, but like there's some, you open them up like this one and there's 3 inside. Not ideal. Okay. So, alrighty. Slide this in here. I also still know very, very little about comics, just learning. So we're going to look these up and see if we can find any. Like I said, it could be just total nothing, but figured this would be okay because it might at least motivate me to do it. I've been putting it off, and I know I need to go through these or do something with them. So let's see. Justice League Europe. We have number, so we have 1, and it was, this one is April 89. We're going to put CGC in here as well. I'm just going to do a basic search. I can see in the search, I probably won't show you this every time. There's a listed one. I don't know if somebody's running an auction or what they're doing there. It's just listed for 47, not a sold or anything. Most likely with most of these, the solds are like not much, but being number one, maybe. Let's see. I don't even see a sold of this one. You know, I'm not going to go on, for the sake of this anyway, this live, I'm not going to go on TerraPeak or anything like that and look them up any more than that. So as far as I'm concerned, this one's going to get set aside in the I don't really know pile. Justice League. So now we go. I'll show you these as well. You know, this will slow me down a little bit, but I'm just trying to keep motivated here. So Justice League number 2, Europe number 2. This one was May. So, you know, when they're not worth much, your hopes are at least that there's more of this collection, and that can help too, right? If you have like a run from 1 to whatever. So same thing. See some listed, not super high or anything like that. Completed sold. Okay, there's one right there that was, so somebody had, it's a CGC 9.8. Is mine that? I don't know, probably not. They also paid to get it graded. There's another one here that sold for $40. Okay, probably not worth my time to get it graded at that point, right? This is the other one. So this one's a 1 through 50 run. So somebody sold the 1 through 50 plus annual. So if you had the whole set, somebody got right there $76. So at this point, that's what you'd kind of hope for, that you had that many of them. Do I? I don't know. Is there one in here that's worth more money? I don't know. And that's sort of kind of what I've been going through. So basically on eBay, I'm just going to go, this is issue 3. We're going to change it to June. It's still the 1989 one. Yep, CGC. So we're looking for graded ones. Looks like $4 is what I'm seeing on my screen. And then once again, when you do this, you usually see the ones that sell higher. So this is not definitely nothing special there either. Okay. It is number 4, the next one I see here. So, you know, I did so I got these at a yard sale. So lots of people had a chance to pick through these. If somebody knew a particular one in this series was worth something, they probably would just go and grab it, right? If I knew about comics, enough about comics, I would certainly do that. So there's another 3 in here. So I don't know if that's the MO here or not, or what's going on. So we have 4, 5, and 6. So same thing. I'm going to put them all in boards again. And try not to make too big of a mess. That's it. That was, hey, Carl, what's up? I'm making myself go through comic books. I don't love it, but I'm doing it. How was, fittingly, Justice League Europe? How was your vacation? Good? Hard time getting this in here. All right, so there's number 3. So I'm gonna get them all at least like that before I look them up. I wouldn't expect that they're gonna be worth much, to be honest. You have a bit of a yeah, bit of a back catalog with the comics. I certainly do. I started off strong. I went through a bunch of them, and then I got caught up doing other stuff, and I really do need to go through these. It was great. Never been to Italy before. Yeah, that's awesome. I'd love to go over to Europe. I've been to around the world at Epcot at Disney. I don't think that's the same thing, but I did enjoy a lot of the food and beer there. What you and Scott have a podcast coming out today, yeah? I got to get caught up. I think I'm 2 behind now. I managed to miss upswing on comics. Oh yeah, yeah. Me too. It's hard. It's hard. You need to know a lot about different time periods, and you also need super old ones. 89 sounds old enough, but for comics, it's not that old. So after all that, I'm on number 4. So let's see, number 4, July. We're still at 89. CGC. Here we go. All right. So I see one listed for $4. That's not a great start. Yeah, pretty typical. Not much. So I don't know a lot about comics. Like I said, I'll probably say a million more times. Let me see. Released one new one. Tried to talk about reselling math. Oh God, I'm not that good at regular math. Well, I'll have to listen to that reselling math. So, is that like trying to figure out the fees and everything before you actually buy something? Or I'll have to listen. No internet. Yeah, that will kill the morning. That will definitely kill the morning. So yeah, the other thing here is margins. Yeah, makes sense. I really do. I have been enjoying your podcast as well, though. It's been really good. I don't see anything here that screams out at me. So like sometimes you're looking for well, first issues can be okay. The other thing is like if somebody dies or if it's like the first time if certain character comes into this series, those can be worth money. Things I'm learning, but I don't, I'm far from a professional when it comes to comics. But apparently I'll buy them. I need to pick up some cheap boards and bags. Yeah, these. So what did I pay? I think they were crazy. I think there was 100 of these. The boards were like $20, and the bags were maybe a little cheaper. And that's actually someplace local. So that was pretty good. To search this one. Looks like this one. I see one sold for $5.48. So not good. Keep going though. Last time I did it organized by comic, and okay, yeah. I looked for keys. Well, there's probably a better way to do it. This box, I think, by the way it looks so far, if I just keep grabbing stuff, is mostly all Justice League. But then there's another edition 1. So I don't really know. I mean, I'll have to figure it out, obviously. But yeah, there's got to be a better way to do this, or you just don't buy them. Might be the best way. You just know which ones are valuable. But I figured this was a fun thing to try to do. It's just I'm in pretty deep. I've got a couple boxes now that I'm going to take to a local auction that I've been through, and I might get like $20 for the box. So like that's better than donating them or something like that, I guess. But is that this one? Yeah. So this one I see listed for about $6. I can't imagine that it's worth more than that, but sometimes if you have one that's graded high, it could still be worth something. Is this going to be that case? And there's one for $10. I don't see anybody who's tried to grade and sell this one. So, that makes sense too. I think we're on to the next little bunch. Comic book site too. Found, yeah, the site. Some of the sites are good. eBay, hit or miss, right? For what I'm doing, eBay sold comps are going to work just fine. But yeah, I tried some of the websites and they kind of make sense. Can't think of the last one that I actually looked through. They were pretty similar. Sometimes they valued stuff a little bit higher, but the truth is I'm going to sell it on eBay. So, I probably eBay comps still make the most sense for me. This bag is far too big. I can save the board though. Yeah. So what are we on now? Okay, so I don't know what this is. This seems not super good, but this person was, the condition of these are great, okay? This is 9 and 10. So we have 1 through 10. And it looks like the next batch I have here is going to change numbers for some reason. So we have 9 and 10. but then I don't know why, as I throw them on the ground. For some reason, I have 3 loose pages that look like, what are these? Carl, what are these? They don't look like they're not out of these comics, or are they? Right? I don't know. The pages aren't numbered. So for the time being, I'm going to look up these 2 comics. I'm going to slide the loose ones behind number 9 because why wouldn't you? Looks like one ripped out. Yeah, I don't know which one. I'm still going to look it up just to be sure that, if one of these are like crazy, this board is too big too. I'm still going to use it. I think it'll be fine. If one of them wind up being crazy valuable for some reason, which I'm sure that they will not be, at that point, I would figure out what the loose pages are from. But yeah, not necessarily what you want to see, loose pages, but yes, it's weird. Sometimes some of these bins here, like this one, have been mixed, and it was like every 20 comics it switched. When I looked quick here, I mostly Justice League, and then I think at the very end it switches to something else. I've went through a lot of the Wonder Woman ones and Green Hornet and those type of things. I've found a few that were worth some good money if they're graded and the grade comes back high. Yeah. It is annoying. Those are, yeah, they are. It's, you mean like these are sliding them in to this thing? Yeah, for sure. I was in your podcast when driving around. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I do the same thing. I normally try to listen to you and Scott when I'm driving around. I'm driving quite often. Like just when I go to ship stuff twice a week, that's like 2 hours in the car. Monday 2 hours in the car, Thursday 2 hours in the car. So I'm always looking for things to listen to. So yeah, our podcast is going pretty good too. It's slow. It's hard. It's a slow build up, right, to get an audience, but I honestly don't even care. I just find it fun talking talking to any like-minded reselling individuals, right? Like it's just interesting. I think the year changed here. So now we're number 10 was in January of 1990. I think we skipped 9. We'll have to go back. But this is this one right here. Okay, so I'm gonna put the brakes on for a second. So I don't know why. And this is probably bad because this is one of the ones that had loose papers. So there's one right there listed for probably didn't see that. It was pretty quick. $136. Then there's a ton for $4. I'm going to assume there's some rarity to that one. For solds for this particular one, almost none, which just goes to show you can list things on eBay for whatever you want. Doesn't mean anything. That's about as far as in depth as I'm going to. So I'm not like doing super research here, like not going into crazy lengths or anything, just looking. If something piques my interest, I'll look further. I said before, this one right here is just full of ones to look at again and would potentially be graded. Just find talking to Scott once a week is good by itself. We talked for 4 hours this week. Or this Wednesday. Did you record it all for 4 hours, or you just talked that long? I sold magazines by accident. I sold a magazine by accident that had a supplement. Oh, shoot. Oh God. Oh, you didn't record all 4 hours? That would be crazy. And actually, I don't know. It'd be kind of fun. Sometimes I've listened to some pretty long podcasts. Like if you listen to, not so much recently, but like Joe Rogan and stuff back in the day used to go, some of those went like crazy long, but I loved it because when I was listening to stuff like that, I was working 12-hour shifts doing nothing. And I was just looking for anything. So like being a part of that type of conversation for an extended period of time is, pretty nice when you're looking to fill some time. So yeah, 4 hour reselling podcast. That could be interesting. Yeah, this one too. I was about to say episode 10. You know what I mean, though. number 10, Justice League Europe, number 10 is worth basically nothing. Now I say that, but there's like, somebody's going to want these still. Even if you get a couple of dollars a piece, that's fine. I've got a pretty good mess going on over here. I'm going to fix this before. Normally I'm more organized, but when I've got my laptop on the table and all this other stuff, it makes it a little tricky. So there we go. So that's 1 through 10. So it's a small run anyway. I find the weight on comics is hard to sell for shipping, but you use Chit Chats, right? I find with Stallion Express, which is basically the same idea, it's pretty reasonable. Unless you don't, do you still use Chit Chats? I thought you did. But yeah, the weight hurts a little. So this is annual 1, Justice League. Okay, I'm hoping maybe there's a couple things in here. I think there might be 2, unless it's a thicker one. And then it jumps up to 15. I don't know. Guess we'll see what's in here. Definitely more than 1. Okay, so 14. And annual 1991. Not 1991. Number 1, 1990. Get it at the booth. Is where I put. Yeah, Comic Con. I haven't sold any, but maybe I have mine listed too high at my booth still. I don't like these extra big bags. I'm just going to get rid of them. I think I have them listed at for about $4 roughly at my booth. And I don't think I've sold any single comics. I've sold some like bigger books, or like bigger than this. Is the annual ones are like slightly bigger, but I sold some ones that are more like, I don't know what they are exactly. The one was like a role-playing strategy game, but it was for one of these things. But yeah, some of those, but like for, like $8-9, something like that. This one looks interesting. I mean, this one looks cool, but it's not even necessarily about how it looks sometimes. It's about what's in there. Actually, eBay labels have really dropped in price. Oh yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I've noticed that too. Oops, I pulled out 2 bags here. Sometimes eBay labels are pretty good. I was shipping, so I dropped stuff up I dropped some shipments off today, which I normally do Thursday, but because we came back from vacation on Monday, it kind of screwed up my whole week. But what was I going to say? Oh, when I got home, I had some shipping to do again, because I had sold some more stuff, even though I won't drop it back off until Monday, I guess, at this point. But I was a little afraid. I had a Blue Jays jersey that's going to go to Honolulu, which is Hawaii, I think. And I was afraid that one was going to cost a ton of money. And through Stallion, it was only like $8 still, ground advantage. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. But then I shipped, where is this behind me? It's the camera for the Xbox 360, I think. So just like one of the cameras that plug into the system. It went to Northwest Territories, and that cost $20 to ship. So within Canada, that was way more. So yeah, those type of things you just can't save money on, even through some of these companies. But not much you can do about that either. But yeah, eBay's been pretty good. I do always, if it looks like something that would be worth running through eBay, I'll look, just because I can drop it off locally and not have to make somebody wait an extra couple of days for me to ship it out. $8 with tracking to the US. Yep. That's ground advantage. I think. What is the other one through the States? It's just like, so I try to do ground advantage if I can, but the other one is sort of like, what's it called? It's ground advantage. There was priority, but I can't think of what the other one's called. I use it all the time, but it can be sometimes like $6 to $6-7, depending. If it's under £1, it's pretty cheap. It just technically, it says it takes longer, up to 10 days, but I've never really had a problem. You can, yeah. I don't know why you can't remove Canadian locations. That would really, really definitely help. The flat rate boxes, can help too. I think for that particular one, because Northwest, like $20 is still probably cheaper than any of those boxes. And I don't have to leave, make a special trip for it or anything like that. But yeah, it's still annoying that you can't just say like, I don't, it's so hard because that's still part of Canada. It's part of Canada Post. Excluding them seems a little unfair, but it's only going to affect people like who do shipping like I do, I suppose, or similar to me. I got flat rates. So if I'm only charging $9 to ship something, because I could ship it just about anywhere for $9, except to Northwest Territory, that's, where you get bit. And it happens, but there's plenty of times that I ship stuff for $5 with Uni, where I'm still charging $9. So I'm sort of just, I'm recouping that money slowly. And it's such a back and forth thing here. Justice League 14. Oh, I didn't look up the annual one, did I? Oh, it's under there. So let's do this one first. 14 May. This one's 1990. This is my favorite cover so far on here. Okay, so I don't know. There's a listed for 10, a listed for 4. Yeah, not really much of a sold. $4, something like that. He's selling on .com or .ca, both. The majority of everything I have is on .com or .ca, and then I think what happened was I started to move some of my shoes over. I've sold most of the shoes that I've put on eBay.com, so I would delist my item on eBay.ca, and then open it back up with the same account on eBay.com, listed in U.S. funds, but also change where it was shipping from. So says I was shipping from Buffalo because that's where my stallion starts tracking from if it's a U.S. label. And I did very good doing that, but it was a little bit of a hassle. There was like this little hiccup in eBay where I could only do that about 3 times, and then it wouldn't load properly or let me list properly. So I was trying to figure out a workaround. I'm using cross list magic to move it from one to the other. I also have another dedicated eBay.com store that's just for video games, which I don't pay enough attention to. I think it's still on vacation mode currently. I think it came out today. I had it go a little longer than everything else, but yeah, I do both. But primarily .ca is like 90% everything is .ca for eBay. Sounds cheaper than chit chats. I can't say it today. I think it's the one thing with chit chats is there's a good chunk of Canada, not all of Canada, but a good chunk of it right now that you can use Uni, which is some kind of courier service. I don't even know, but it's crazy. I've like shipped like a VCR for $5 before, like $5.10 or something like that. And then, the same thing might cost you a lot more money depending on where it's going. But it's not like you can adjust your shipping based on that. It's almost just like you still put in, like if we're talking about a VCR or something big, I would still charge up, assuming that I'm going to have to pay what I normally would pay. But every once in a while it'll be like, hey, you can ship it with this courier for like $5. And you're like, okay. And those are your small wins that when you do have those really bad ones, it helps out a lot for sure. Do you have a drop off in your area? Let's see. This is, Europe. This is annual 1990. 1990. This looks like it's worth less. Well, better than some, maybe. $2. The last one that sold I can see here. Same thing. I'm kind of hoping I can like get a run of these where I can at least list 1 through 10 on eBay for $20, or I don't know. That's what I see so far. Then it jumped to 14. We have number 1 annual, but they could be mixed up in here. I don't really know. Was here dimensions actually cheaper? And yeah. So the other thing they do is Stallion Express, which Sounds like I own the company sometimes when I talk about it so much, but it saves me so much money. I don't have any deal with them whatsoever. I mean, I have a sign up code, but that's the same code that you could get if you sign up with for one. But what you can do is if you were really far away from them, you still wanted to use them, in particular for cross-border shipping. So like, I know I don't think you're a Poshmark guy, Carl, but like if you wanted to do that and you needed a cross-border shipper, you can actually put out all your shipments in one box. They have a discounted rate with, I think, Purelator, UPS, one of those next day delivery companies. You ship the entire box to one of their depots or like one of their places, one of the Standing Expresses that exist, and they scan it in from there. So you can just ship them your whole shipment, which I know a couple people who do that, but it's primarily people who want cross-border shippers for like Poshmark or somebody that's giving you the USPS label, right? But then you think you're paying, so for the cross-border labels, it's 90 cents right off the bat. It's basically what you pay for them to take it across the border, but then you got to pay to ship a whole package to them. So it's got to be worth it, right? Like you can't ship one or two things. You'd have to be shipping a pretty good sized box, but it makes sense when we're talking about like t-shirts and stuff like that, because they're not that heavy and you can fit a lot of them in a box, but then you run into handling time issues and all kinds of other stuff. But still, it is an option. Pretty cool one. The drop site, Canada Post is a lot easier. Also UPS, cheaper on large. UPS, yes, UPS is good. We just talked. I was just talking on the podcast with John about UPS, and I think he got a chargeback recently from UPS, which I don't use UPS a lot, but I know that can be a problem where so I think they scan it quite a few times along the way with UPS, and if there's ever any discrepancies, it comes back on you and they charge you. So your shipment, all of a sudden you could get charged extra money, but I think it comes right into your eBay funds. And then you got to fight it, which is pretty crappy, honestly. But, I think it's reasonably rare that happens, but it still can happen. I know it has happened to him. He said a couple of times now, and a couple of other Canadian YouTubers that I follow, I know, have talked about that as well too. But yeah, it can be much cheaper. I feel like I'm struggling to get this one in here. There we go. I'm just gonna take a peek here. Oh, I don't know why maybe we are gonna switch here. I see a Wonder Woman up next after these ones. So there we go. Hopefully that's where the good one's hiding. I've heard that happens as well. Yeah, it's weird, right? It's kind of unfortunate that that's even something they can do, especially when like eBay's the one regulating, it's their deal. They're regulating the whole thing. So, I mean, I guess the problem is if you did lie about the label, it should be on you, I guess, if you're trying to pull one over on them. But if it's, I think the one thing John had said to me was, what is it called where the weight is by the volume or something like that? There's, I can't think of what the actual the term is called, but that sometimes if the box is too big, they can say that it weighs X amount because of the size of the box, even though it doesn't. There's an actual term for that. I just don't know what it is. So we're on Justice League Europe 17, August. $19.90 this one is too, and then always put in the CGC so we can see if anybody has this guy graded. So this is what we're looking at. I see some decent ones listed already, better than we've had so far. There's a 10, a 26, and an 11. Okay, those are all listed, obviously. Solds, not so much. I'm just going to make sure I've got something I don't like in the listing. Let's retry it just to make sure it's just not me. Nope, just a couple listed decently. None have sold. This might be, if I cared more, this might be one that you would maybe, because it showed a little more interest. You might look on Terapeak or something. But unless I can lot a bunch of them up, I've been saying like anything under $12 I don't even care. I'm not going to mess around with it online whatsoever. I'm going to try to sell on my antique booth or on Facebook Marketplace in a big lot or on a or at my booth or whatever. Volume, I don't know how you say that. I know that's what it is. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. I'm gonna butcher that. But yeah, that is what it means. Overestimate size and weight. Yeah, slightly. I do too. There may be, I do say that, but there may be the odd occasion where I don't, but it would have more to do with like no, I would say that I do. I was going to say maybe if I was trying to use letter mail or something like that, and it was just a little thicker than it probably should be. But I've seen them. I don't use letter mail a ton anymore, but I've seen them take video games in and just reef them through the mail slot, and you're like, oh, it just almost breaks your heart if it's something reasonably valuable. But yeah, that'd be about the only thing I would have maybe kind of tried to sneak under the radar, but those days are seem to be long over now. Although I know I have lots of people who still do use letter mail for lots of things, but for video games and stuff, it just doesn't seem worth it anymore for the most parts. I haven't really had to change my pricing with video games and stuff in eBay because I think I have mine still set for $4, but with eBay you can ship pretty cheap with tracking now with the expedited light. So if I lose a couple dollars there, not the end of the world. And then same thing, like, with Stallion, it tends to be pretty cheap too. Go. All right. I can't believe we're already 40 minutes into this. Appreciate Carl hanging out here too. Certainly making the time go by a little faster. Okay, is this the one we just looked at? Let me just double check. My worst problem is get distracted and not do what I'm supposed to be doing. So this guy right here, number 16, if I haven't said already, is pretty much a dud. We're going to go to number 15. So this is mostly for my entertainment at this point. But number 15, it's June 1990. 90s comics rarely are worth a ton, This one, so nobody's graded this one, but this is one I could set aside because if you look, there are a couple that sold non-graded for $20. There's one that looks like it says it ships fast for $8 from the United Kingdom. The shipping was pretty expensive. So this is the first real like, hey, maybe this one's okay. We will set this one aside. This one I wouldn't try to grade, I don't think, or anything like that. But this could be one that I throw on eBay at the very least. So first one, unless it's part of a bigger set, which I don't think it is because I had thought Justice League after, but I do see there, well, there's still these Justice League ones. And then eventually, if somebody wants to look this up before, there's a couple of Wonder Woman ones right here that, what are we in? Almost 40 minutes already. We'll probably still get that far. I don't know. We'll see. So far, we found one that potentially could be worth up to $25. Is that exciting? Well, if I was getting paid by the hour, I guess it could be okay. It's potentially $20 an hour so far. We're into it 40 minutes, So as far as that goes, you could look at it that way, and it might seem a little better. Plus, I mean, it's not like these other ones are worthless. They're just not worth a lot. Okay. Let's see. I typically also don't do a ton of lives, so I don't know. I've heard other people say I like doing them. It's like fun. I've heard other people say that it can tank the algorithm a little bit. Not that it matters because unless I'm doing like a video every day for a month or doing that type of series, my views are pretty consistent, and they have always been. I think it's just the people who watch the channel. I don't really, the odd one, the garage sale videos for me sometimes blow up and do a little bit better, but for the most part, my average videos are basically right in the same ballpark every week, which is fine. I certainly do YouTube because I enjoy it. I do not make barely anything off of it. Oh, Carl's back. I look at the return on hours worked. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Error during the what's that? I made an error during listing lives. Oh, I see. Yeah. Like when you were like listing live on doing a live, I think. Sorry. Sometimes I do them. I don't think it always grows your channel, but people rarely rewatch lives, I think. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if somebody wants to rewatch this, cool. Because this is mostly just to keep me listing errors. Yeah, I can see that. I've had to relook at what I type in, like multitasking. Sometimes you definitely overlook things. 20. Well, I'm actually going to be on Scott's show on Sunday. Yeah, he just asked me yesterday or whatever day. So if you're going to watch Sunday night, I'll be there. I always watch Scott's show, but it's rare that I actually can watch it Sunday night. I usually watch it after it's all been on. I enjoy it. I wish I could watch it Sunday nights. But it's rare. It's rare that I do because, Sunday nights are one of the rare nights that me and my wife get to hang out. And I don't know that she would watch it with me, although I'm sure we wind up doing all kinds of other stuff, right? But definitely a good show. Scott Sell Stuff show. If I could even talk today. So we got. Should show you what I'm doing. Justice League. This is number 20, and it looks like it sells for a couple of dollars. It's big money. It's almost like gambling, but when you lose all the time. Yeah, I even miss a lot of because family nights. Yeah. I mean, for sure. I mean, I'm sure you're in the same boat, right? Family nights. You only so much free time. Love the show though; it's great. It's less than zero interest. Yeah, mine probably does too. She's a little nicer about it sometimes. Like a lot of times, we will watch like different reselling content just on YouTube for if we're doing book work, paperwork, we'll throw something on in the background. I'm certainly usually very interested, and she's like a little bit interested, but she'll humor me. We're still 90s. So this one looks cool. Let's see. Well, so there's a couple listed decent again, but that never means anything. $10, it's just on the point where it could be worth a little bit of my time, but at the same time, I don't think it is. One sold, how's the booth going? Couldn't make any money in a small one, so I shut it down. Well, so it's going. I would say it's going okay for sure. I haven't lost any money. I haven't sat down and really broke down how much I've made because it's so hard. Because a lot of the things I put in the booth are things I already had. There are things I bought for the booth. A lot of the things that I bought that would do good in the booth, I've actually took out of the booth and sold on eBay because I didn't want to play the long game with them, and I knew they would sell pretty quickly. So it's making money, but it's not making a lot of money. I'm going to give it to the end of the year to make sure I know what I'm doing one way or the other. I also know this is a very slow time of the year for that type of business in general, and that nobody there is making a crazy amount of money that I know of currently. I think it's sort of time of year. So it's doing okay. It's kind of what I expect. I'm moving lots of small stuff. I don't think I would do that. I wouldn't keep what's going on right now there going on for forever, because it does take up time that I can do something else, but I really do enjoy it. So hopefully it works out. Might be open to Sunday. Online flea market. You have to be physically there. Yeah, for sure. Online real life flea market. Oh, yeah. That would be cool. I don't think we have. I thought about so like I live out in the country, but there's like a little town with a grocery store, not even gas station anymore, but just like the post office, grocery store, small town. But we have in this area, because of it's all agriculture, there's a ton of offshore workers. So it's a lot of guys from Jamaica, Mexico, Trinidad, and those guys buy stuff like crazy. I've thought about throwing like a flea market type thing up there. There's like an old car lot. I'm like, I wonder if I rented the car lot for like a Sunday and went to the Goodwill bins and bought like not even great stuff, just like mediocre t-shirts and shoes and all like cheap stuff. And I could probably charge thrift store prices and do pretty good just moving this stuff, but it's a risk, right? And it takes time and blah blah blah, and I'm sure you get it. But those guys buy stuff up like crazy. I get like lots of messages now on Facebook Marketplace for especially Jamaican guys wanting to bring like stereos and stuff home. So like a lot of times there's a couple guys, there's one guy in particular who comes every year. I think he's from Trinidad or something, but he's got like a list of things that he wants me to look for, because I don't think he drives, but like if I can go find this stuff for him, he'll pay me. So stuff like that's cool. It's really in this area something you can kind of like take advantage of a little bit and work with people like that who want stuff, and you can get them a good deal and make a little bit of money. Yeah, versus online for sure. I don't know. Same question with what goes online there versus online. I don't know. I'm still learning. That is the problem, I think. It is, yeah, you're right. It is a complicated question only because I haven't figured it out. Things that I thought wouldn't sell, and I don't know. I feel like potentially every location might be different, because it might be a different type of like group of people in that area that look for different things. Long hours, ins and outs of the booth flea markets versus eBay. Yeah, it's an hour-long plus conversation about the ins and outs of the booth flea markets versus eBay. Oh yeah. Was that your last? Do you mean that was the last podcast? I don't know if I missed something there. 18. I forgot I was supposed to be doing this as well. What are we doing here? 18. Okay, so this one looks like it's worth. So it was listed. There's none sold. It's number 20. No, this one's 18. I just did 19. There's 21. I mean, it's not a short topic to talk about. Oh yeah, for sure. No, for sure. It's not. It's I don't know. I've not, especially the antique booth thing, because I've not been doing it long. I used to go look around at them for fun. I would look for memorabilia that I wanted for myself, and then when I figured out I could buy that stuff myself at yard sales and thrift stores, I didn't really go to the flea market or to the antique malls anymore. Or if I did, it was just for fun to walk around or to look for something unique. But yeah, I mean, when you start really looking around, you can find a lot of the stuff that's in those stores by yourself if you have the time to look. King of distractions, yeah. It's all right. So I jumped on. I wanted to do, in particular, this live to keep me motivated to actually to do this. I kind of want to do this once a week. I was thinking, so I normally try to do 3 videos a week. Lives aren't for everybody. Look at the graphic on this one. That's great. But I thought about doing this 2 videos a week and then this until the comics are gone, just to keep me on track to do some of them every week. You know, I've thought about, I was going to look through them while I was watching baseball. I've just been getting so burnt out, and I don't want to not like reselling. And that's definitely not what I want to do. So I'm just trying to like give myself enough time to decompress and hang out and whatever. So I haven't been doing this, but I need to, because I have, you know, most things are easy. You buy, you take it home, you list it, whatever. This stuff, obviously don't have to go through every single comic book. It just kind of, they're like we talked about, there could be hacks about how I'm doing this. I'm just, because I don't know anything about it, I feel like I'm going to learn a little bit. I've already learned that 90s comics aren't something I'm interested in too much. Flea markets you can actually source from. I don't have any in my area that I know of. Do you? I mean, that'd be a lot of fun. I mean, you see these guys like in Florida and stuff like that, right? On YouTube in the States, they all do, and they seem great. There must be some. I've not come across them, right? Like, I mean, the most well-known one in my area probably would be Gibraltar Trade Center, but it's like almost like when you go to the fair and people are trying to sell like hoodies they made and like blankets, and some people have food and this and that and the other. There are no like trinkety stuff, which is surprising because you think people would maybe. So I know there are some people there that go to the Goodwill bins, but it's more like collectible, like cards and stuff like that I see. But there's probably more people than I realize that are doing that. But the prices still aren't that great. Surprised a lot of the best are not the best advertised. Well, yeah, for sure. That does make the most sense, because anybody who knows about like a little honey hole doesn't usually want to talk about it. And then if it gets out, kind of ruins it for you, right? So this is February. Are we on 1991 now? Oops, I put Deb instead of Feb. That ain't gonna work. So we're on episode 20. Why do I keep calling it episode? Issue 23, February 1991. The next one with the cat looks great. That's all I got to say. This one looks like I see a couple listed for a couple of dollars. I'm sure you guys can see why this is not exciting. I don't see any solds there. I see some listed. I don't know. But still packed every weekend. Yeah. Yeah, well, I know there's another one that I've wanted to go to in, I think it's Grand Bend down here, which is probably like a couple of hours from me still. And I've heard it's good. And I've seen like some like photos and stuff and made it, but haven't went. I'm spoiled by the Goodwill bins, to be honest, because it's so cheap. You get a little bit of everything there. You know, yard sales would be my first choice, but they're not available all the time. You know, I was at the bins today. I didn't grab a lot of stuff, but the stuff I got was pretty good. Like I probably got a couple $100 worth of stuff in like less than an hour. And I think I spent $19 today. Hard to compete with that. Hard for me to want to run around, you know. Unfortunately for the YouTube channel, they do not like you to film in there. I've seen lots of other bins that you can film in. This one, I think it's the people who go there who really don't want you to, more than the Goodwill themselves. But yeah, jealous of the Goodwill bins. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun, but it's also I'm gonna show the cover of this one again. I think this is a pretty good comic cover. It's fun. The bins are fun, but they're also like, I don't know. People get a little pushy there. I've got to know how everybody is there now, so it's like it doesn't bother me so much. When you first go there, they really do a good job of trying to intimidate you, I think. I don't really try to do that with people when I go. Like, I've never been I'm in the mindset, there's so much stuff there there's something for everybody. Like, you don't need all the shoes. You don't need all the t-shirts. People will snatch stuff basically out of your hands. Like, why? Like, I don't get into those games. So I see one sold down here for $3. I'm just going to take a look how they have theirs listed. The only thing they're putting in there that I'm not is, I think this one is like a collab with maybe a different designer. There's like 2 different names down here, which aren't on the rest of them. So I thought maybe that would make it a little better too. Apparently not. Got pushy people? No. I mean, what's the point? You know, like, I'm not really sure what you're fighting over. You know, a lot of the guys you see push and shove in the Goodwill bins, or at least in mine, is they're fighting over like metals, like brass and copper and stuff like that. It's like, I'm kind of like, whatever. It's just kind of silly, but that's what they're there for, I guess. Going to shock and don't know what to do. Well, I mean, yeah, nobody's necessarily. I mean, people snatch stuff out of your hands for sure. I've never been like pushed. I've had people step like right over top of you in front of you to grab something that's clearly in front of you. I usually just like, come on, dude. But I guess I'm just passive in that way. I mean, I guess if I was really bothered by it, I would say something, but for the most part, I'm just like, whatever. Like, if you need to act like that, that's fine. Like, if it gets to the point that it's really bad, they do start kicking people out. Like, they don't let you get absurd, but people definitely will push the limits for sure. I would keep a few in the barrel to rip if someone got that close. Yeah, that's funny. So what do we got here? Justice League 21. Okay, still got another little stack of Justice League before we get into whatever's next. Anyway, so 21. There's a few listed for like $4. Seems typical. And then doesn't look good. You know, this is what it's been like though with these comics. So now we're on to the last little bundle before I know we're on to at least one. Oh, I lied. They're stuck together. There's 2 more little bundles of these before I see at least a different comic. Looks like there's 3 in here again, maybe. This one's got a good graphic too. This looks like the Beetlejuice worm, right? So that was 24, 25, 26. So I'll have to go back. So maybe I do have a little run here that would be good. That's definitely how you're going to get a little bit more money out of these ones. I shouldn't say it like that, because it's not like you're getting more money. You're probably, you sell them in a run from like, I just sold a run of like 1 to 28 for $50. So it's not like you're making more than, you know, a few dollars off of each comic, but you're selling them all at once, and it is a lot less of a pain, obviously, because you're not trying to sell a few for a couple bucks here, a couple bucks there. I'd rather sell a run of them for $50 or something like that. It obviously makes a lot more sense. It's a lot easier for me. And if there were more of those, that would be great. This box, like I said, I don't really know. I see it skips back to Justice League eventually. I thought originally when I just skimmed through, it was all Justice League. Some of them have been very, very mixed, though. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the barrel, right? Total ripoff. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely looks like a ripoff. What year was this? 1991. So yeah, it was probably. I'd have to look it up. When was the first Beetlejuice? Was it the end of the 90s? Or sorry, the end of the 80s or early 90s? Also, the trailer for the new Beetlejuice looks pretty good. I think it looks interesting. Probably, you know, typically those type of movies where they're rebooting an old movie like that, they're not that great, really. And this one might not be that great, but it's always fun to get excited about it and go. I've probably went back and watched Beetlejuice like once a year for the last 20 years at the very least. I think it's so good. It still holds up to be very enjoyable. I'm telling you what to do. Look at the titles on eBay solds from highs to lows to see if they're any over $15. The rest, and you root for $5 each. Yeah, that's a good possibility. Probably maybe smarter. Right, you're just saying like look up the run from like whatever. Like these ones are like 1989 to 1991 Justice League Europe, and just see if there's some crazy one out there. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, maybe keep. I mean, at the moment, I'm going to keep doing this, but I'm going to think about that because I could test that out with some of the ones that I have in here. So these ones, I don't know if you jumped in here at the beginning or not, Carl, but these ones are all ones that potentially could be worth 50 to 100 plus if they're graded and I do all that. So I could definitely try that out and just put in. So this is Superman, Man of Steel, number 18. Okay. So I could put that one in and then see if this comes up so that I'd be afraid to miss one. Got FOMO here, buddy. Don't want to miss any of the good ones. Plus, I'm trying to learn, but that makes a lot of sense. In the future, or maybe even I'll do that with ones that are like more like unknowns or like I don't know. I'm not sure, but that does make sense. I appreciate that. That's a good way to think about it because I can't do this forever, but I can do it for a while. If I were even doing this for an hour. So you're not saying it's way better. I'm just saying it's way. Oh, yeah. That's what Scott would do. Yeah, probably right. He probably wouldn't buy 90s comics either. He's probably smart enough to know to only buy the 10 and 11 cent ones, the good ones. I don't know. Part of it, too, is it seems crazy, and I've done way better at this. Okay, so when I first started on YouTube, I would buy stuff. Sometimes I felt like after when I thought about it, I feel like it was for the sake of content more than that I really wanted it or was worth it. So I don't know. I'd have to think about it. If I would have thought if I wasn't filming and all these were here, would I still buy this? I made the decision so quickly to buy it? Because I didn't buy them initially. Initially, I said, "Hey, I don't want to pay what you're asking. Here's my phone number." And the guy called me back, and we did make a deal, which I still think was fair. And I think there's enough money right here alone to make it worth my while. Plus, I've already sold some lots off of other stuff to make it worth my while. But sometimes YouTube can be a factor when, if you're not filming yourself or doing any of that. Sometimes I'm not sure if I'd buy the same things all the time. Sometimes it's partially for content, which is kind of funny to say, but I mean, it's somewhat of the truth as well. Yeah, I don't get that. I don't want to miss out on selling. Yeah, I don't want to miss out either. Like part of this, even though this isn't the best time I've ever had looking through comic books, although, I mean, talking to you is more enjoyable than if I was just doing it by myself. It's still interesting. I'm kind of learning why things are worth something or why they're not worth something. And this is April 91. I still got 90 in here. There we go. Okay, so right here, these are the ones that really throw you for a loop too. So if you see somebody's got one graded for 136 and there's another graded one for 82, once again, that's not sold. This guy's at 9.8, so they're graded super high. Oh, that's a different one. Sometimes that will happen too. What did I put in here? Just make sure I put in the right thing. So we have Justice League Europe, 1991. From 91. Yeah, and the one that's coming up is Justice League 33, which we're getting close to 33, but I think we end at 33 right here. No. So 33 would be a good one because there's like comps for like 170, 136, 60. That would be the good one. This one, if I go back out, just want to make sure. So yeah, somebody's graded these ones, but they haven't sold. It's crazy that you'd be asking so much without any factual information. So this one, I'm not going to set it aside with the ones that I'm keeping, but I'm going to set it aside just to look it up later on Terapeak to make sure that there wasn't one that sold and that somebody knows what they're talking about. But it just looks, to me, that looked like somebody who's crazy, just asking a lot of money just because they got it graded, which isn't the case, obviously. Comes in 90s. I'd pay for, when comics are 90s plus, I think I would pay pretty cheap. Yeah. Only if they're board. So I thought they were all board and bagged. And what happened, these ones are even worse. Most of them, when I looked after there was one on one side, one on the other side. So they were just doubling up, which is fine because I'm like, at first I'm like, this is great. I've doubled the amount of what I thought I originally had. But then I realized, I need to put them in bags and everything myself. So, which all costs money, right? Like all this costs a little bit extra money. So what do you do? When you buy from collectors, they often pull the keys too. Yeah, true. These ones, the lady, I don't know what the family did, but the lady had passed away. And this was her collection. I know they had them out for a day before I had seen them. And then even before that, so the guy who owns not the antique mall that I have a booth in, but there's one in Tilsonburg where I got these, they had actually brought them to him and tried to sell them all directly to him or to them. So I bet you they shopped them around a bunch of places before they brought them to their front yard for the yard sale. They might even try to sell them a marketplace. They might have picked through. I mean, they told me they didn't really pick through too much, but probably did. They told me a story, and then from a few people around town, I've heard that they were trying to shop them around a little bit, which is smart. I would do that too, right? But I don't know. Who knows? Somebody who really knew what they're doing might have came and grabbed all the good ones and left the okay ones. When you're buying from collectors. Oh, yeah. That's just what I read. All right. So what are we on here? 26. Now I need to find 33 because that was the one that was potentially worth something. 26th of May, 91. Okay. So that's what it looks like. Once again, somebody's got them graded. So there's graded ones out there, but that doesn't mean anything. It means somebody paid to have them graded. As far as the sold one of this one on eBay, no. The sold ones keep pulling. So there's two that have sold right there and there for $2.20 and 11. And the one that keeps coming up is the same series, but number 33. So we're hunting for 33 because we know that one could be worth something. That one could make my afternoon. We've got a $25 one over there. I'd love to have a $100 one. It could feel a lot better about today. So, yeah. What are we on? Oh, we're finally on the rip-off Beetlejuice one. Did we ever figure out, Carl, can you look for me what year Beetlejuice was made? Maybe you did already. Oh, it's good. Enjoyed Beetlejuice. I missed that. The new Beetlejuice is good. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. I don't know. I feel like Beetlejuice was like 89, 90, 91. Right in there. Right in the sweet spot of my childhood. Okay, 24. This is March of 91. It's the same deal. It's pretty crazy that it's because everything is so similar. It just keeps wanting to bring up that number 33 because it's the one that sold. This particular one, I don't see an actual sold for. 88. Yeah. 1988. Makes sense. What was I watching with Amanda, my wife? We were watching TV the other day, and I had never watched Schitt's Creek before, and she had watched part of it, and I'm like, we're watching it, and I'm like, oh, this is really funny. And then I realized, I guess at first, when I thought about it, I'm like, oh, that's Catherine O'Hara or whatever her name is, right? I'm like, she was great in Home Alone, Beetlejuice, and I think has she been in like a bunch of Tim Burton movies too? She's great though. Yeah. All right. So after this one, I know we're going to get back into Justice League, but we're going to get something different for a couple anyway. So Justice League, I wish it was 33. It's 27. Let's see what's going on here. We're still in 1991. We're number 27, and it is June. We sold this one. See the one for like $10, one for $2, one for $10. The $2 one is from the United Kingdom, and it has $43 shipping on it, so that seems reasonable. I don't know. Does it show you the shipping rate for you, or what the person paid, or what they would have charged you if they did calculate it? I can't remember. So there's two Wonder Womans right here. That's what I'm saying. Like when I got them, I thought they were all had the bags and the boards, but when you pull them out, they all had two like this. That's the majority of the ones I had were like that. I have found a couple Wonder Woman ones that were pretty good. Is this going to be in that ballpark, or is this going to be in $2 to $4 ballpark? You're about to find out. Stay tuned for this exciting pull. Oh boy. Shows what could have cost to ship. Oh, it is what it could have cost you to ship, not what the buyer paid. Okay, so from my area, they would have charged me $40-some. That makes sense. Sometimes those numbers seem nuts, but it's probably because we're in Canada and those prices can be crazy. Yeah. Trick so many Canadians. I would think so. I didn't really know either, so makes sense. Shipping, yeah, shipping's a nightmare in Canada, right? Compared to most places. I think other places it can be expensive, but here it's like, unless you got to work around somehow, you're going to be paying. You got to have good items that people want, because the shipping is going to be up there. So this is from 1990. To edit that in my little search. I also have it in as Justice League still. That ain't going to help us whatsoever, because this is Wonder Woman. Oops. That was not right. Let me try that again. Wonder Woman. Okay. Well, that's it there. Looks to be. I'll show it to you again. I'm going to verify that what I put in was right, because I've seen a listed, but I don't see a sold, which isn't unheard of, but I seen a listed for 10. I see a listed for 10 and a listed for 40. Just seeing, but that's not that one, actually. What's wrong with me? Oh, yeah, it's this one. Oh, that one's signed for 40. Okay, so look, this one's, not that great. What do we got here? 42. All right. The Silver Wings of Terror. I mean, it sounds like a thrilling episode. Strangely, my shipping costs have decreased over the years. Yours to your, like, when you buy things, do you find it cheaper, or you mean just when you're shipping things out, they've got cheaper? I feel like mine's definitely got cheaper, but I'm typically not buying directly through eBay or anything, but still, I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I'm going to need this, but I was supposed to be looking this up. So this one's number 42. It's May of 1990. Okay. This one looks to be basically the same as the other one. Don't see well, there isn't sold. There's two solds here, $4 and $6.81. For selling, when it comes to Canada Post, it was 15 with tracking to the US. Okay. What is it typically right now through eBay? What are you paying to ship to the US? I've seen it's been cheaper, but just your typical, I know you don't sell a lot of t-shirts, but like say t-shirt, video game, just something in that size that's maybe just under £1 to the US. What is that going to cost typically on eBay? $7? That's pretty good. Really good. Yeah. Yeah. So that's as comparable sometimes to what I'm using. So yeah, it's always worth looking it up. So this is cool too. These have not been accurate. This person, you can see they printed these off, but they're not all right. So I started to look through some of the ones she had, and it says she kind of like did her own inventory here. The woman who owned these, she also had this like this. I've just saved this because I thought it was interesting. I don't think it has her name or anything on it. I'll just double check before I show you. She also like just dropped some, wrote, oh, look at how small she's writing, wrote all these little short stories and letters. Just interesting because, yeah. I was reading through them the one day. I just dropped a whole pile of them that were loose. I was thinking about, I'm sure the family didn't know those were in there. I was thinking about like just trying to get them back to them. I do have the guy's address. I don't know if they'd be interested or not. Just thought that was kind of neat. Whoops. Pound might be 12-ish. Under, yeah. I mean, that's reasonable. You can't really complain about that. So this one could be good. Some of these are the ones that have been good. So this is not, it is a, so, okay. So it's a book though, right? The only thing here, which seems weird, so it's on a board, but behind the board, like what would this be? Why would this be in there? It's like a part of a cover of a magazine. Like somebody just cut that and slid it behind there. She obviously cut that and slid it behind there. I don't know if there's meaning to that, or if it's just for her, or if it came out of this book. I don't feel like it came out of this book. It's pretty cool though. Justice League: A New Beginning. It costs $12.95 US or $15.95 Canadian. Let's see a year on this thing. Typically, these are some of the ones. See, there's a couple loose pages in here too. I don't think they're from, but they're not from this book. They're from a different comic book or something. Who knows, right? Definitely not from this though. But these are these just like some of the covers? I don't know what this thing is. Anyway, I'm gonna Google Lens it first. Oh no, I can just search it. Justice League: A New Beginning. Let's see if it comes up. 1989 vintage. So that's what we got. This is the first printing of it. That's cool. So I just did that. I'm just copying and pasting somebody else's title. So now we're going to look it up. Looks like it could be anywhere from 20 to 10 to who knows. This one sold for 13, 10. Not a lot. But the cool thing here, even though it's $9-10, something like that, this one's interesting enough that this is something that I'll put in the antique booth for sure. So I'll set that one aside. I'll probably throw $6, $7, maybe something in that range, and throw it in my booth. So I'll set that one aside. Not a lot of money, but it's better than nothing. I still don't know what that is, but because it's going to the booth, I'm just going to set it aside or discard it. Yeah, Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what those are. I'm just going to leave the loose comic pages in the back because they're going. That's one of the great things about the antique booth, I guess, is when you do run into stuff that maybe needs a little bit of explanation or you're not sure of, somebody can physically pick the book up and look at it there. So if they're like, well, if they care or they know what those are, or maybe I just take those out when I bring it there. They're not part of the book. Get to save that thing as well. Got another book though. But that's the cool thing. Somebody can physically pick up your items and look at them, which, yeah. No one has to write. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Okay, so this is JLA. Okay, so I don't know what's in the back of this. So there's two in here. This is like, I have no idea what this one is. I've never even heard of that before. We'll look it up anyway. It's got a really cool advertisement on the back for corn pops. Delicious, by the way. They also will destroy your gums. So if you want a bloody mouth and cereal, that's my advertisement for corn pops. Still delicious, though. Let's see, we're having a booth. Yeah. Yep. That's true. Yes. That is the nice thing about having a booth, is that you can take things like that there, not have to explain them. Got an extra board now. So we're going to look whatever this is. JLA 80-page giant. Look, there's some milk for the cereal. We're all set. Yeah. This is a cool one. I don't expect it to be worth much either. 1998. This is much newer. Much newer. What is JLA is probably Justice League of America. Yeah. Makes sense. 80-page. Giant. It's not a regular one. It's a giant one. Number 1. So it's number 1, 9th July. '98. Well, it comes right up. I can see this is already going to be a booth item. One sold for $4. If you have the set of 3, there's like a limited run there. Somebody got like $13 for that. But it's another good booth item. I'm gonna maybe salvage one of these ones that are bigger, that are oversized, and maybe not so new looking. And slide it in there. Oops. Careful of this. There's a little bit of tape in some of these, so try not to touch the actual book. I'm sure anybody who really loves comics and sees me touching them with my bare hands probably like thinks I'm some kind of monster. Especially if there's something super rare, but there's not going to be anything super rare from like the late 80s, early 90s, I wouldn't think. There might be some good stuff, but rare, I don't know. Wow. We're making our way through here. It's an hour and 20 minutes into this live. It is, at least I'm doing this. Let's see. This one has a barcode, so that sometimes is a bad thing. I never use this very often. This is the image searched right in eBay. So I'm going to try it. See if it pulls it up. I find it a bit clunky, but pretty good. So I found it, no problem. Okay, we got one listed for $9. Manhunt, you say. All right, looks like we're at about, they're calling that a graphic novel. New others, so I see, it's not the same one though. You see this one sold for $20, but it's not the same one. And the majority of these are like $2. So I'm just gonna think, I'm gonna put it in the I don't think it's worth too much pile and continue. What are we saying here? I'm nervous wearing gloves. The gloves make you nervous? Oh, sorry. I'm never wearing gloves. I thought nervous. I also should be wearing glasses, and I read poorly. So two strikes against me, apparently. Lives are hard. You're doing great. Oh, yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I just trying to still stay on task while watching the chat a little bit. I appreciate you being here, for sure. Justice League, episode 2. Is it quarterly? The biggest event of the year. I mean, it looks like a big event. Davis, hey, yeah, look, a comics guy or gal. I assume guy potentially. What's up? Vancouver, what's going on, Vancouver? We're just going through some comics. So far, we have found very little. We found a $25 comic, maybe, and a bunch of duds in the last hour and 20 minutes. I was doing good because I figured I was making $20 an hour, and now I'm getting into hour 2, and we haven't struck gold again. So not that $20 is that good. Well, I guess we found a $10 booth item, and maybe 10's pretty generous. A $6 to $8 booth item, and maybe another $4 booth item. Only because they're books. If they were just regular comics, I wouldn't even worry about it. Justice League. Quarterly 2. What are we? This is spring 91. So let's see what comes up. So that's what we got. Books. I see a listed one for $3. So that's a good start. That's a great start. All right. I sold one for $3. So that one's going nowhere. Vancouver saying hello to Carl. God. Oh, well, we have another one. It's another quarterly one, but it's number 8. I didn't realize they were in concessions still, because these ones are a little bit bigger. This is autumn 92. So this is 8. Let's just see what happens here. Can't imagine this is any better. I guess if I had like the set of them, once again, it would help. 92. I put in 93, so let me redo that. 92. See some $3 to $5 ones. None sold. Actually wound up pulling a Michael Jordan PSA card up for some reason. So the eBay sold card pulls up this Jordan card. But the listed are all these Justice Leagues. Not weird. Sometimes eBay makes no sense. If I go back to the Jordan, see, now it doesn't pull that. Now it shows something completely different. Did you guys ever get that when you try to comp stuff in eBay? It comes up something crazy. Like that made 0 sense. It showed me this comic, but actually showed me a different comic originally. Anyway, number 11. So they're not in order. These ones aren't in order anyway, but we're back to Justice League. So a lot of Justice League here. I just don't want... Oh, hold on. There's Extreme Justice back here. I think these are all going to be Justice League. So, just see what happens, I guess. So this is number 11. Summer of 93. So that's it. These ones just aren't worth much. No solds there. Not of this anyway. Just pulling up all kinds of stuff that's not this, but I can see plenty listed, which is eBay. Super low listed. Yeah. Well, yeah, I know. That's never a good sign. But like the CGC, so like when you're looking to see if anybody actually had them graded, that can change it a lot, though. You can go from being worth like $4 to $6 to 120 real quick if somebody's graded and is graded well, which is one thing that is kind of interesting. Maybe do a lot cheaper ones, group by name. Yeah, I've done that. Like, yeah, lot them up. Like there's a bunch in the first few that we looked that were all runs of like from like 1 to 10, and I'd have to go back to see how far it went. But the last ones that I sold was like a run from like 1 to 28 or something like that. Yeah, you can sell them like that for sure. Most 90s comments aren't worth much. Yeah, not much for sure. Key issues, exactly. So I know you just jumped in. Like these ones so far are the ones that I've. So like here's like, you can try to look this one up if you want. It's a Green Lantern one. Most of these ones that are in here, if they're graded, let's pull up another random one. Most of these ones would be worth a decent amount of money if they grade well. So I guess I got a bunch of Green Lanterns in here. Just to show you some other ones that I have pulled. More Green Lantern. Maybe this is just my Green Lantern box. Okay, there's a decent Wonder Woman I must have pulled out of there, right? So there has been some okay ones. These ones all, like I said, if I graded them, could be worth decent money. It's just you got to go through. So for me, with these boxes, you know, this is what we're trying to work through at the moment. These boxes are few and far between. That's what I could say for sure. All right, so this is number 12, same series. I'm not going to even take this one out of here. Some of them have had multiples in there, but that one I can tell is just one. Still 1993. It's number 12. It says Autumn. And there we go. There's a couple listed a little higher, but nothing crazy. Nothing crazy at all. None sold. Not even in a run or there's like a huge lot somebody got. This is 41 books. I don't know if you can see that. $41, one bid, $17. So I wouldn't run them on an auction for sure. 12,000 comics in my collection. Wow. Do you have any like really like gems in there, like some stuff that's just crazy, or like a lot of common stuff, a lot of like $10, $15 stuff? Interesting. Oh, it's our friend Oreo. Hello. What's up, dude? Nice you can be here. We've been going for about an hour and a half so far, just going through comic books. Anything really special you can share? Yeah, Vancouver, if you got any gems you want to share, definitely do it. Interested. Well, we go through Justice League. This is number 13. This one looks cooler, but looks mean absolutely nothing sometimes when it comes to comics. So look this guy up. Yeah, I don't know what even like 12,000. That's a lot of comics. Is that from like doing buyouts and stuff, or you've collected for a long time? This is 1993. Same thing, you know. Lower listed ones. I've seen people grade these things too, but let's throw that in there. Not helping. There's a $2 one and a $3 one, so you know, slow go. Oops, we'll go back up one here. Mostly original Superman run, but not number 1. Still cool. Very cool. It's working on eBay. Just saw you went live. Yeah, cool, man. Nice to see you. Nice to see you too. Appreciate you popping in. Yeah, I bought out some years, did some buyouts for pennies. It's the way to do it, for sure. Super cool. Nice. So you got some oldies. Definitely cool. What we got here? This one. Whoops. He's trying to fall forward in this box. Cutie. That's funny. Just kidding. Yep. Justice League. What are we on now? Number 14, 1994. So we went up a year. Not good. We want to go in the opposite way in years. I think when we started, we were in the 80s or something, and then we got into the 90s, and now we're way later in the 90s. So 14, 94. Oops. The only nice thing about doing a lot of the same ones right now is I don't have to type in so much stuff. But as you can see, these ones are pretty not valuable. You know, not to say that people don't want them. Somebody sold one there for $4. So, I mean, somebody wants them. 15. So from 15, we jumped to 17. So there are definitely some missing in this particular one, but we'll keep looking. Full Star Wars run. What year? Interesting. I usually say this and then people don't like that I say it, but I like the first run of the Star Wars. The new Star Wars movies, I don't love. I like the old ones. They're nostalgic. You know, when I go, like, we love Disney. When we go to Disney to like the Star Wars thing at Magic Kingdom, I like that it's mostly the older stuff that's in there. Like, there's some modern stuff, but there is some modern stuff for sure. But everything looks like you're walking through. It feels like the 80s, and you know what I mean, like that. Like, it just feels better. The new stuff, all the CGI stuff, it's okay. It's not a popular opinion, I'm sure, but I like the old Star Wars. I guess when you get old, that's what happens, right? You don't like it. You don't like the new stuff. Although the new Star Wars stuff isn't that new anymore, but still like the old stuff. So this is what do we say? 15. There's a couple listed, right? Can't imagine. Like I said, I will go back through after. This is another one of those weird ones. Okay, so it shows listed, but then it shows me a baseball card and a different magazine. If I do it again, it does the same thing. It shows Good Girls Art, something, and then who's the baseball card? It doesn't even say who it is. You pick. It's a you pick one. Okay, weird. Sometimes eBay is weird. Full original run. Cool. So, but that would be the 80s, probably late 80s, or did they do them before that? Because one was bad with timelines. Was the first Star Wars early 80s or late 70s? I'm sure somebody knows. Most of us feel the same way. Yeah, about getting older, or about the original Star Wars. I know you're a Star Trek guy, though, right? Too, Carl. I just listed on my eBay. Is it eBay or Poshmark? Maybe both. A 1994 Star Trek shirt. I think it says. It just says like a little logo, and in the back it says "It was fun," and then it's like a quote from Captain Kirk, I think, or something. But here the kids like the horrible ones. Yeah, true. Original Star Wars came out in 1979, I believe. Well, I wasn't born. I was born in 1981, so you can do the math. But I do remember watching it, you know, like as a kid on, even though we're Canadian, my parents always had like American Satellite and stuff like that. So I think it was like TBS Superstation would do like the runs, right, where they'd throw them on a weekend. You could watch, you know, all of them back to back to back, stuff like that. I'm sure, I can't think of what the Canadian equivalent was back then. I'm sure they did the same type of thing. But yeah, I just remember watching that as a kid. So obviously not when they first came out, because I wasn't even born, but those are the ones that are nostalgic to me. This is number 17 from 1994. It says Final Fight. So is this the last one? Might be, because we're jumping back into a different series after this. looks like it isn't worth much. Yeah, for Halloween, I wear my Star Trek outfit in public. Sweet. That's really cool. That's great. Love to see that, actually. All right, so we got Justice League. So we're back to the original, the Europe one, or Europe one. I think there's still only one in here. No, there's a couple in here. So those ones were thicker and it felt similar, but I think we're in multiples now. So let's see. So we have 40, 41, 42. So some of the best things about comics, because I'm not a big comic guy, but look at this. Rage in the Cage, WWE advertisement. Some of the advertisements are so cool. We have another Super Nintendo advertisement. Whoops, it's trying to bend the comic or ruin it. And you have this Kiss one. This is obviously without the masks, so wow. We don't really see advertisements like that too often. Obviously, you can still buy magazines and everything else, but it's just not so common to have like a full back advertisement of something cool like that anymore. Vancouver. What's going on in BC? My sister lives there. All right. Try to slide these back in here, and then we'll look them up. What's in here? Pretty good pile going on. $77. Oh, it was $77 for Star Wars. Okay, so yeah. Pretty impressive when you think about it, right? Like there was no real CGI like we have today, and everything looks good. Like I mean, you can look at a few things and they look kind of cheesy, but considering what they were working with, pretty amazing. Yeah. Same with even like, if you think about like how cheesy, like if you go back and watch old horror movies and stuff like that, sure, the graphics aren't like what they are now. Nothing looks realistic, but like it still is creepy. It was cool that you could get that emotion out of somebody, even if it was like you could clearly look now and be like, oh, like that's a dummy and they've knocked its head off. But I mean, like at the time, or even watching those back when I was like super young, they were definitely creepy. Do we need these super realistic ones that we have today? Like some of the first ones that were really kind of creeped me out were like, and I do like the Saw movies, but those are like seems so realistic, right? In comparison to when you think of like, Friday the 13th or like any of those type of movies, just wild how different it is. Out here, still alive. Has to check for work out there. She still works hard. I don't get it. Missed something there, did I? Film industry. Oh yeah. Previous years, BC. Gotcha. All right, so we are on 41. Don't know what to expect at this point. We still, how many? Okay, so it's so weird. I just like, oh, are we like through these yet? Then every once in a while, there's like a special edition one in here. I see something like the Warriors Justice way at the back. I definitely picked probably the most boring box to go through, but I have to go through them. So, and whoops. Oops. Let me fix this. Okay, Justice League Europe 41. This one's August of 92. Okay. Yeah, that's him. Should also put, try that again. All right. There's a couple listed. The highest one I see listed was $16. Don't have super high hopes. Not really. So we skipped right over the ones. I don't know if you remember how long. Carl might remember. He's been around for a long time in this stream already. We wanted this same series. It was 33 that was like for sure graded, worth a lot of money. And I feel like we jumped from 27 to 40. So maybe somebody knew that at the yard sale, unless they're hiding in here somewhere. I don't know. As I grab that, maybe you're going in the right direction still. Then it could still be in here. But that was the one that we know is going to be good. So I do see 30 something in there when I just peek. So could still be in here. Let's try 40. What is 40? Isn't July? All right. If you're still in here, Vancouver, if you were going to look through all these, me and Carl were talking earlier, would you look individually at all these, or would you look at a series like Justice League Europe and just put in like the year 1992 and try to pull up comps from that? Or would you look through every single one? Because, I'm just, struggling through this, trying to figure it out, right? And if you're a comic book guy, maybe that would be the way you try to find Grails. Carl suggested that, and I think it sounds like a good idea. It sounds like a very time-saving idea. This one here looks to be about worth $5 or $6, something like that. How was whale watching? It was great. So it was really good. So we got to see a couple of different whales. A minke whale, which is a smaller whale, and then a couple of humpback whales, which was crazy. I thought so when we got into so we can talk whale watching for a minute, apparently. So when we got into the boat, I thought we were going to go into the inner bay and then around these islands and that sort of thing and actually go out further in the ocean. But because in the inner bay, they actually found this humpback whale, he's like, well, there's no point in going out because this is what we're here for. So we followed it around. It came up and eventually it actually wound up sleeping. So it's like sitting on the top and you can see it breathe every once in a while. And then after about 15 minutes or so, it woke up, kind of did this big epic dive underwater, and it was cool. They had basically said, like, it's very rare to see that, especially like in that area, like just in the inner bay. So it was cool. Thanks for asking. It was a lot of fun. I think I included some of that in the second part 2 of my vacation What Sold vlog. If you haven't seen it, check it out. There's some clips in there. Doing great. Thanks, buddy. Look at the series, change the settings of eBay to highest sold. Yep. Sounds like that's kind of like what Carl was suggesting, and it makes sense. I might do that after I get through maybe this box. I might do that with some different ones. I kind of have a little bit of FOMO because I don't know enough about comics. So I'm afraid to just like leave something that is like crazy good, because this is part of this for me is learning. So the first thing I learned obviously was 80s and 90s are there's like few and far between that are worth anything at all, really, but people still want them, just maybe not, there's no crazy money in them for sure. Still fun. I mean, it's interesting to go through. It's a lot funner doing the live going through like this than doing it by myself. But Free Willy, yeah, I think Free Willy was the killer whale. That would be cool. But this was humpback whales look really weird. I don't know if you've ever seen what they look like. They're kind of like a big blob, though. They're cool. It was fun. Did you Free Willy on my vacation? I don't know what he did. He woke up and swam away. So I guess he was free. Let's see. So this is number 4. Oh, come on, eBay. I'm the problem, probably. It's not eBay. 42 September 92. So let's see what happens here. So there it is. Not listed very high. I see a couple of $5 ones right off the hop listed. Do we still have? Yep, we have CGC in there still. completed, sold. No. Like I mentioned before, it does feel like gambling a little bit. If you're like play slot machines and you're just like you pull a thing, you wait for something to happen, nothing happens. Every once in a while, maybe, but for the most part, nothing happens. All right. So this is getting closer to the number we want. I think I'm going to change them all out. Like I said before, I don't really like the oversized bags. They're like that because there's 3 comics in here. So we're getting closer. We have 37. So we know from previous comps that 33 is a really good one if you could get it graded and it grades high. 38 and 39. I can't see what direction they're going after that, but I guess we're at the 2-hour mark. I still don't have anything better to do. I've dropped off my mail today. I listed for the day. I could list more if I wanted to. I've cleaned some stuff up. I've got stuff pre-listed for tomorrow morning. Saturday morning, if it doesn't rain, I typically go to garage sales. So I'll list in the morning. And that'll be it. I'll go to garage sales and then probably that'll be it. Might edit the video, Sunday, this week I might be a little busier because we are going, I know we just got back from vacation, but we're going on a little weekend trip next weekend. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're going to Toronto for 2 nights and Niagara Falls for 1 night. I don't know why we booked this a long time ago. And I guess we thought right after we got home from vacation, we needed to do something again. I'm not complaining because it's going to be fun and it's all paid for. We typically, when we do stuff, we like to prepay as much as we possibly can and save money. So usually when we're doing anything, it's all prepaid. So that's cool. It's we just got back, but it'll be fun. I think we're going to go to a concert, a baseball game, and then we're going to see a stand-up comedy show in Niagara Falls. So it'll be a good weekend. But yeah, still going to hang out and do this for a while. I got quite a few to go through. Did you try the new Trailer Park Boy chips? I haven't tried the chips. I did go to a clothing store in Halifax called East Coast Lifestyle, which you can buy. I see that stuff here some places too. They did have some collab Trailer Park Boys clothing, a hoodie that was really cool with like bubbles on it. I didn't buy it or anything because it was like, I think it was like $120 or something crazy, but it was cool. Definitely a fan of the Trailer Park Boys. Justice League Euro from 1 to 50 have no real value. Just look them up. Yeah, I think it was look up number 33 graded, like if it grades high. I think that was the one that did. I could be wrong. I just seen that. Maybe 33 is a bit of valuable because it includes Sonic the Hedgehog comic insert. Oh, that's why. There's always a reason why, right? So yeah. So I'm already this deep into this, so I'm going to keep doing this for the rest of this box probably. But do you think that's the better bet? Is just to look up the series and then look through solds and filter out highest to lowest? That makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot more sense. And this might be. Like I said, I'm just going to go through this box anyway because I've went this far through it, and I truly have a little bit of FOMO. So I probably will go through this box and then I will test out that theory on what I already have, and would save me a ton of time. Not only would it save me a ton of time, like I said, I have nothing better to do at the exact moment anyway. I could go work. I could go work on my shed. I've got the lumber to finish the other wall and the back wall, but I feel like that'll be like my Sunday project. Because I want to do in the morning. It's pretty hot. Like currently it's 27 with the humidity of 1,000,000. So I don't really want to be outside in a little hot. I have a fan in there, but I don't have any like air or any airflow or anything like that. This guy, 37, basically no good. Yeah, quicker. But if you're new at comics, do whatever way is more comfortable with you. Yeah, I'm new at comics, and like I had kind of said to Carl earlier, I think part of me buying these, so I made an offer on these comics. I don't know if you actually watch my channel or not on a regular basis, but I made an offer on these and left it on the table, and they called me back and we negotiated for what was left. I just said, I'll just buy what's left at a fair price. And that's how I got all these, which I did buy them at a cheap enough price that I've probably already sold lots from the other ones I've went through and made money on. And I do feel like that the ones that I do have in here are all going to be fairly valuable. So I'm going to do fine. It's just the amount of time that it takes. So in the future, if I was thinking about buying something like this, it'd be a much easier way, like you said, to look it up that way, right? Which ones will you make? Which ones will make you more money? So like some of these ones are just, it's just something like, well, like Vancouver just said, the number 33 has a Sonic insert in it. It's something that's unique about it usually, or maybe it's like could be that somebody dies in I want to say an episode, but in the series, or it could be the first time somebody enters a series. There's all kinds of reasons why they could be more valuable. They could be more rare. I've seen ones too where there's like an alternate cover for them, and the one cover might be more valuable. There's all kinds of reasons. I don't know enough about them, which is kind of why it's fun to look through them a little bit to try to figure out, little things about it like that. Yeah, researching comics takes a bit of time. Lucky they're easy to list and ship. Yeah, they're not too bad. Also, like a lot of the ones that I'm saying that I don't care about too much will go to the antique booth. And then if they don't sell there, I'll try to sell them on Facebook Marketplace or at a local auction house where they won't make a lot of money, but I won't be donating them for free. I'll make something, right? I'll get some money out of them, which will be obviously better, right? So this one, same thing. I don't think this one's worth very much. I'll show it to you, but I think it's number 20, 30, 38. So now we're on 39. We're right around the sweet spot if we could find that 33. Still 1992. Actually, someone's got an auction going on right now for $1.79. So you can buy one brand new from the UK for $6. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in the probably not good pile, but I'll run the comp anyway. Looks like $3 to $4. See, now we're going to skip. Yeah, I think that one's not going to be in here, which is unfortunate because we're at 43. So we're 10 above now. It's a weird little skip there. I feel like somebody took that one out of there for sure. That one and a few others. To learn more about comics too. Yeah. I mean, the way you learn about anything, like you can just buy, if you find them cheap, buy them and try to educate yourself a little bit. You can just do blind, like you can just research on eBay anyway. Like you could just look up Superman, for instance, and look at comps. You could just go same thing like Vancouver mentioned there, go highest to lowest, see which ones people after are valuable. I mean, it's just, it's probably rare you're going to find a super rare valuable one at a yard sale or thrift store or whatever, unless you buy them in a big lot and you happen to find it, or, I don't know. Would think it's very uncommon still. People generally know what they have if they're collecting. I'm here to learn. Yeah. We will try. We'll try to learn. Like I said, I haven't had too much success today pulling anything crazy good. But it's part of it. So I guess I could be doing other things, but this is fine. I haven't done any comics for a couple of weeks, maybe. I feel like last time I did a live, I thought I was going to be doing this, and then I needed to ship a few things before we went on vacation. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do a live shipping, shipping where I did a live video where I did some shipping. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. Yeah, the other thing, Oreo, is I thought when I got these were all had the bags and the boards too, and they are. But when you grab one, so this one has 3. A lot of them had just one in the front and one in the back. So I wasn't really thinking about that either. So like, I obviously had to go buy some more bags and some more boards, and so that cost a little bit extra money. So that takes away from your profit a bit. A couple more here. Too big of a one. Like this, oops. Let's grab some more boards, but you buy the bags like this if you've never seen them before. There's 100 bags in here. I don't remember what I paid for these. The boards, for 100 boards, I know I paid about $20, which I thought was pretty reasonable. They're a lot. If you look on Amazon, they're more than that. That's just a local comic book store had those. So, if they're not all like that, there's a little bit of cost to get them that way. And that's how, if you're going to ship them, you definitely probably want them to be like that. And if you're going to sell them and have people handling them, you probably want them like that, so they stay in decent condition. So this is Justice League Europe 4 to 5, 1992, December 92. Just a couple listed pretty low. Pretty typical of what I'm seeing here. Yeah. Pretty low. Don't even actually see a sold of that one. Not a recent one, anyway. Do you use comic mailers to ship them out? I think I have some here. Depends on where they go. So I don't. They're outside, but they're like, it's kind of like a comic mailer. It's just a cardboard sleeve that you slide in, and then you can, it just sticks to itself. So it's in here in the cardboard mailer, which is rigid. So it's kind of like, it's not exactly what you're talking about, but it's the same idea. And then I slide it into a padded envelope, and that's how I've been shipping them out. The 28 that I sold a lot of 28 of them. I actually just put those in a cardboard box because there was no real good way to do it. Packing paper, and I put a little bit of bubble wrap on the end. Yeah. People who buy, you probably fall in this category too. And people who are buying comic books are pretty particular. Like you want it to arrive nicely. You don't want it to be all bent and messed up, right? So you got to keep that in mind because, I think it's probably a little bit more picky. But these are all in great condition. This was like an older woman who owned these, collected them for a long time. Had anywhere from, that I seen early 80s to the newest ones I found were like 2010, but like everything in between. All right, so this guy, it's not the same one here. Let's just look. Yeah, 3 to 5. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Nice. Yep. Hey, Lag, what is up? Comics, say less. Yeah, I know. Yeah, going through the comics, and there hasn't been a lot of excitement. In the first hour, I pulled, I mentioned this not too long ago, maybe a $25 one that's going to go on eBay, a couple of okay, like $6 to $8 ones for the antique booth, and a lot of $4 $4, let's just say $4 ones to be nice. So a lot of that. And I'm doing it the long way. We've discovered this is probably the worst way to do it, but I'm committed at this point. So I'm just going through every single one because 2 hours in, what else am I going to do? Yeah, I use rigid cardboard and sandwich them. Yeah. Makes sense. Yep. I have a whole box of United States Postal Service cardboard mailers too, which technically shouldn't be used. They should only be used for priority mail, but I've had these for a long time. I got them by mistake. So sometimes I will even use those, and it's the same sort of thing. Or if they're going to go and it is, you know, through USPS, I will use them anyway, and just, you know, but I'm still going to throw them in a poly mailer. So those are always nice to use, and they're super cheap. So I bought them by mistake. I thought I was buying padded flat rate envelopes, and I got 2 boxes of these things, and I've had them forever and not used them for anything. So I just started using them for that. I'm in deep into comics. Oh, are you like, you've bought a bunch, or like, or you're into comics, like you just like them? Yeah, Gemini mailers for $1 each, buy in bulk. Oh, yeah, that doesn't seem too bad. I mean, that still does add up. I think the ones that I get from Stallion Express, they're technically free, but you have to pay for the handling to come across. So like when you buy USPS boxes through them, they don't cost any money. You're just paying the freight for them to bring them. They don't, because they're free. They don't charge you any money. They just charge you to get them here. So I had a bunch of those. See, it's hard to beat the $3 or $4 they charge for like a case of them. But that's not initially why I bought them, but that is what I've been using. That and these other cardboard mailers that I had for something else. So this is number 44, 1992. See a couple listed here. It's, again, don't have my hopes up very high because there's not even any listed high. Once in a while, you'll see somebody who has graded them, even though there's no real reason to grade it. Yeah, nothing here either. Not a big shock. Buy, sell, collect. Yeah, makes sense. If yeah, so this box, these bags I paid, that I didn't know before, but the price is still in the back. $10.99 for 100. I think that's pretty reasonable. I do need a pair of scissors though. All right. So new bag of those. I might have to grab some more of these here in a minute too. There's no way. This is what I'm working through. Okay. This was full. I'm not even quite halfway through this box. I was talking a lot to Carl I don't know if Carl's still in here or not. So it wasn't like I was speeding through these, but I'm 2 hours in. There's almost zero chance that I'm going to finish this box. I was kind of hoping that. It's 3:45 Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to have, when my wife's done work at 5, and we typically try to go for dinner on Fridays to the same place for fish and chips. Sometimes we'll switch it up and I'll have like wings or something, but they have like a fish night. So I'm excited because, first of all, it's fun to go out to eat, and we have a couple of beers, or I don't know, maybe probably have a couple of beers. We typically try not to drink alcohol at home. So exciting. Go for a couple of beers, some nice food, and yeah, it'll be fun. I enjoy Friday nights for that reason. Get out and, do something. So I got at least till 5 o'clock because that's how long she's working. So buy, sell, collect. You have any gold or silver age? Well, I can tell you, I don't even know what that means. So what does that mean? Is that the 10-cent ones? I don't know a lot about comics. I'm literally just learning. I bought these on a bit of a whim. I bought them at a yard sale, and I wasn't going to buy them. And I left my phone number. They called me back, and we made a deal, and I did buy them. But I don't know anything about them. I just figured I would pay for an education here. Yeah, old comics. Not really. Like mid 80s, maybe early 80s. I think 81, 82 is the oldest ones I've seen, maybe. I'd have to go back and look. We're in the first bunch that I looked through. Yeah. Age of comics. These ones are from like 1992. But these are all over the place. Unless you're probably actually, Vancouver, you're probably talking to Lag, I suppose, if you're asking about age of the comics. Excuse me. Oops. That's the remote for my air conditioning, which it's not too bad in here, but when I do live streams or record any videos for YouTube in here, I turn the heat pump AC thing off because it's super loud. I thought it would be a couple hours in. I thought it'd be a little warmer. I'll have to turn it back on before we go for dinner, though, or my wife will be upset. And nobody needs that, I'm sure. Modern comics, then. Any keys? Any key issues? Is that what you're saying? I don't really. I mean, none that I could tell you for sure. Like, I do have. I guess you came in kind of late. I'm just going to try to slide this in here. I'm having a hard time. Clearly, I'll just kind of show you real quick since you're a comic guy anyway. So these ones were ones that I purposely pulled out because when I did the same thing, come to them on eBay. Some of them, right? Some of them, if they're graded, could be worth better money, and that's what these ones are. So Wonder Woman here. You know, I could tell you what it is exactly if you want to look. This is a August 1987 issue 7 of Wonder Woman. That's what that one is. You know, is it worth a ton? They all would need to be graded to be worth something. This is another Wonder Woman 19 from August 1988. So these are some of the better ones that I have pulled out here. There's another Wonder Woman here. So there's some okay stuff. They're just so few and far between. So I thought Justice League might be good. You know, I went through a bunch of Green Lantern, a bunch of Wonder Woman already. I can't even remember some of the other ones. All kinds of stuff, man. But as far as even knowing a particular thing to look for, I don't. I kind of understand maybe what would make, you know, some of the things that could make one more valuable than others, but I don't have a particular one that I could tell you that's going to impress you for sure. So this is 48. It's from March of 93. So we're 93 now. Okay. See some pretty typical listings here of what I've been seeing. I do have CGC in at the end, just to be sure. Because you never know, every once in a while, one will come up low, but then you'll see one sold that somebody has graded for, you know, okay money. This one, so this is like a war with the, okay. So this one says like part 1 of, what number is this? That's so weird. So here's 46. This is part 2 of 6. What am I missing? First 44. Oh no. Okay. So if I go back to, so I've done this too, and this probably makes sense. Okay. So I'll relook at these because even though I've looked to see that they're not with money, I'll see if there's any like runs of sets. Like, so this one here is like part 1 of 6 of this Red Winter. Okay. Probably 1 through 6 of that. Maybe it's worth $20. So when I go back through, that'll still be worth it for me to like list that. I don't know that that's the case or that I have 1 through 6. I see here, this one was buried a bit. Here I have 2 and 3 of that. And maybe I have more. Maybe I already looked through more. Hadn't been paying attention, but I will when I go back and just organize them after I've made sure there's none that are worth crazy money in here. That's the kind of stuff I've been selling to get like 20, 30, 40 out of lots and stuff like that. The biggest run I think I've had is like 1 through 34 or something like that of maybe the Outsiders or I don't know, something like that. And it did okay. Justice League made a lot of different runs. Yeah, Justice League America was the original in the 60s. Yeah, I'm sure that's the one that you want, right? For sure. Justice League had 9 different runs, including this one, obviously the Euro one, for sure. I went to a yard sale and bought a box of DVDs, 4 boxes of DVDs. Okay. How much did you pay? I mean, that's not bad. It just depends what you paid for them. There could be good stuff in there, or maybe there's a Wii Sports hiding in there somewhere. You never know. Costs 40 to grade when you add shipping both ways. Yeah, so I had a buddy who told me, I look these up. When I'm ready to send some in, he said the best thing to do is if you're going to commit to actually sending them in to get them graded, is I think you can send in 25 at a time, and that would save you. I mean, you're going to have to pay, right? You're going to have to pay to get 25 graded, which wouldn't be cheap. You got to look at risk and reward, right? I suppose, to see what you would get out of that. If I sent 25 in, they would have to be like all ones that are going to be worth more money. I can hear my cat doing a little cry down here. I don't know what his problem is. Blue. Maybe we'll get him some. Hey, come here. We'll see how many stray cats we can get to come in here. Oh, there's one. This isn't the one that was crying. Come here, Zero. She's gonna run away from me. Here's the one that was crying. Yes, okay, I'll give you treats first. Don't be mean. Do some for you. Some for you. All right. I'll maybe pick one up in a minute after they're done grazing on the treats. At least they're not going to cry. That's good. So this guy here looks to be not that valuable either. So this is number 46. You know, I can only see this one that comes up, and it's not even a normal. It says United Kingdom. It's one of the ones where you can pick the one you want from that series. I think $10 a box, or $10 for all the boxes. They're full boxes. Cool. DVDs can be good. I don't know if you've seen, like, I bought like a lot of DVDs. If you want to look through every single one and sell them like that, shipping's tough. Shipping's tough online, but it's cheap, to get into. I had better luck, in my antique booth with the DVDs. Honestly, that's where a lot of them wound up. And then the ones that I wasn't so sure about, I sold in big boxes again, sold them off again on Facebook Marketplace, and did very well. Like, I would do that again. And once I got my shot, I just didn't. My wife says she doesn't care, but I don't really like having that much inventory just sitting in our living room for a week or a weekend, probably. But I felt bad about it. She told me she didn't care. I just felt like I didn't want her to have to trip over my mess in the house, which is, one of the nice things about maybe getting the shed here. Blue, come here. Come here. Are you gonna run? I don't know what you think I'm gonna do. What are you doing? Come here, Zero. You both? Are you afraid of the camera? Like staring at me like I'm crazy. Somewhere. Doesn't matter. Anyway, back to comics. I think the cats are happy now, so that's good. So see, this one looks cool. You would hope this would be good, but probably won't be. So this is an annual one too, and it's just the one. Yep, it is just one. So this is Justice League International Edition 4, 1994, Bloodlines Outbreak. So it looks great. I mean, you would hope it was good. And then it jumps up to like 50 something. It's weird. Some of these have been really good for being all in order, and some haven't. I'm just going to take a photo of this one. Do an eBay search that way. This one right there that sold for $2. All of this series seems to be pretty low. Looks cool though. Just too new. Oh, Carl. I don't know if you're still here or you're back, Carl. What's up? My cat will sit and stare at me. These cats, as soon as I'm like done working for the day and I'm like just hanging out on the couch, like they're just on top of me for whatever reason. As I sit here, I can kind of pick this laptop actually. See that one right there? 0, the white one. She's just staring at me from a distance. She's afraid of me. And the one that's going into this other room right there was the one who was crying. So they were happy to take treats from me, but they don't want to actually come to me at the moment. But as soon as I go sit down and want to just like relax, they'll both be like on top of me. But it's okay. So we've got 3 in here. We have 51, 52, and 53. Bought a lot of DVDs last weekend from an estate sale for $10, around 150 total. TV shows. Yeah, TV shows are good. Like series are really, really good. Oh, an anime. Yeah. I'm not super into anime, but my oldest kid, my daughter, she's always loved anime. So I've kind of always knew it was expensive because I've bought a lot of it on DVD and stuff for when she was growing up. So I knew it was always good, and it does hold good value. The books hold good value. So yeah, good stuff. Paid $10 for a box. Is that a good deal? Walt Disney DVDs, horrors. Yeah, I have to grab more of these insert things. Yeah, so Walt Disney ones it depends on like anything, it depends on the movie. I'd say yes, but I would still probably I'd look them up. Horror movies, some horror movies are crazy good money, and then some are just normal. At my antique booth, I sell horror movies quite often. Like every week, I'm selling a good handful of them, but they're like for $4 a piece. You know, there are some obscure ones for sure. I do need to go grab some more of these. So. Decided to wear the Venom t-shirt today. As I got a bunch of hats too, but they don't fit me that good. The shirt's cool though. Yeah, these are the ones I got. So what did I say? I said I paid $20. I lied. It was $21.99. So that's what I paid for 100 of these. It's 100 in there. I think that's a pretty good deal. I'm sure you can find a better price than that. But when you look up on Amazon, like they're more than that on Amazon. So yeah. I'm looking up to see what they sell for. Found 2 DVDs. What do they sell for? Are they good? Like they usually do sell well because you have to buy them in specialty stores normally, right? Like depending on the anime, but you know, Walmart doesn't carry them all. Some of them are more risky than others. I don't know if I wanted to take those out of that, but I did. So I guess we're there now. Still here. I was doing work in the basement and listening. Oh, I'm so surprised I haven't put you to sleep with my low volume of quality finds here. But yeah, we were at the 2 hour 20 mark. I'm kind of impressed about that, honestly. It's funny. One of the first things I bought to flip was managed DVDs. Shocked at how much I got for them. Shocked, yeah. I don't know. I feel like my brain is slowly dying. Not that it was ever fully functioning, but doing all sorts of crazy stuff now. Yeah, hooked on DVD. Yeah, I don't know. It was a lot. They've made it a lot harder with DVDs. Like when you could, no question, just ship a DVD with stamps and it wasn't an issue. Lower end DVDs were great online. Now it feels like you got to be so much more careful. Blue. I don't know why he keeps. Can you guys hear him crying? What are you crying about? Oh my goodness. He's got serious problems. Nice to see you. Can sell for $20 to $200 per DVD. Wow. How many different series did they actually do? So they tried to do the same thing. What time is it? The only thing I have to do before I go for dinner is just washing some stuff that I got at the Goodwill bin, some clothing. So I have to throw it in the dryer, and there's a couple things that need to be hung up because I don't want to, like a football jersey, but it wasn't like, I wouldn't wash a football jersey that had like embroidery on it. This was one of the ones that was like just like screen printed type, so it was totally fine to wash. Just it was wet for some reason. It's like it's never cool to pick up wet clothing, especially when it's not yours and you don't know why it's wet. But it probably added to the weight. Actually, I didn't even think of that. So I probably paid extra for the dirty, wet water at the bins than if it would have been dry. But it was a nice jersey, though. I'm sure you guys will see that in an upcoming What Sold video. Working in the basement, too. Basement life. Nice. I should be working in my shed, but it's too hot out there. So I'm going to have to go see this cat. Come here. I think as soon as I looked at him, he runs. I think he's just because where he's standing downstairs, it like creates an echo in this stairwell. I think he just likes to hear that himself cry. Cats are so funny. Oh, where were we here? In the basement too. Yeah, basement dwellers. Yeah, this is where all the basement dwellers come and unite. As long as I have comic books to look through, there will be a place for basement dwellers. 51 June. So this is issue number 51, June 1993. Good year. It was a good year if you're a baseball fan. The Blue Jays won back-to-back World Series. And my childhood was wonderful. Speaking of which, beside me here, I have a Pat Borders signed baseball that I got yesterday. That was cool. I see one listed for $5. I feel like there should be more that come up. Volume 51. Maybe not. Just making sure that I don't have something in here odd. I just think it's just not a very sought after issue. Sometimes my cat hates me, or hates when I'm in the basement. He'll come and yeah. I don't know. Cats, who knows? Who knows? There are a lot of us basement dwellers. All right. So we are on number 52. What's everybody got going on for the weekend? I think I mentioned earlier, I haven't got to go garage sailing in a couple of weekends. A couple, because it rained the weekend we were leaving for vacation and I didn't get to go. And when we got back, the weekend was over. So that didn't help. Oh, well, that's probably part of the reason. I do realize here, Justice League. There we go. I'd have to go back and look. I had Justice as just for at least the last one I looked up. Didn't change anything though. Still only nothing sold. Okay. Not sure if we go out for garage sales. Yeah, but you don't like garage sales, do you, Carl? I'll check, and yeah, there's no community ones. Would you prefer the community ones? Because I just find if you get there early, they're fine. But if they have them every year, they're so picked over sometimes. Not always. I shouldn't say they're always picked over, but like, I don't know. I like either the ones that are out just outside of town, middle of nowhere, or just a random one in a subdivision or something. They just seem to have, you have better odds of finding stuff. Go to an estate sale this weekend. That's awesome. Here we don't really have estate sales like you see people go through, like Americans on YouTube and stuff like that. And maybe you do, or maybe if you're in Vancouver, our friend Jess there goes to the U.S. I believe from Vancouver into the U.S. to some estate sales. But are you doing them directly in Vancouver? Hey, driving right. Yeah. Wait, you have a Tesla too, though, right? So is that the problem? You're not burning through gas, but how far can you get on a full charge with your car? Be interested to know here. Also, could you pre-set up destinations and just have it take you to the garage sales? Because that would be awesome. You would just have to like hang out while it drives you around. I mean, I think that sounds perfect. Bad luck with garage sales. Yeah, that's what I get from like when you're talking, like whenever I've seen you on the Scott show or on your podcast when you're talking. Yeah, it seems like you don't love garage sales, but you know, 380 kilometers. The devil within. Ooh, getting risky here in 1993. That's pretty good. So I could do a complete trip to London and back and probably go to our store in Tilsonburg and whatever. I could make that work. How long does it take to charge? Yeah, I do sales and garage sales are hard to find, usually not worth the time. Spend gas to find them. Yeah, that can be a problem. We tend to have, get rid of this bag, the oversized one again. Keep the one insert, and we've got 56, 54, and 55. So these are somewhat in order. So we might get another little run out of some different ones. Yeah, the running around can be a little tough. I don't live in a city or a town. I live in the country. So I'll drive into one of the 2 or 3 little towns. I'm like 30 to 20 minutes from 3 different little towns that I typically would go to. And I stick around in there, and I usually find 10. And 10 is usually enough to find enough stuff to make me happy, and maybe enough videos to make, a garage sale video to throw on YouTube. So that works for me. But, I've had times where I couldn't find only a couple, or you don't find any. So yeah, it can be tough for sure. But yeah. At one point they did have full driving. It was terrifying. Yeah. Are they not allowed to have that anymore? Did they take that off, or you just wouldn't like it anyway? I think for the most part, if I was driving, it would scare me. But, like if we're talking about like transport trucks or something like that, I'd almost rather than be automated, because some of the drivers scare me worse than I think automation would. We obviously did a lot of driving on our vacation and a lot of highway driving. And that's the only thing that ever scares me are the big transport trucks that like try to force their way into situations where they don't fit. So, yeah. Cost me about $2 for a full charge. $2. $2. A toonie, you say? Yeah. That's wild. That's cool. So what would be the biggest downfall then? Just like is maintenance normal? I know if you ever had to replace the battery in a Tesla, it's a lot of money. But like otherwise, low maintenance? Interested. From dead, maybe 8 hours, always full charge in the morning. Okay, cool. Makes sense. Charge overnight. For the professionals, it's hit or miss here, yeah. Because you are in Ottawa, right, Carl? Like up that way somewhere? So we've got issue 55, September 93. Justice League. Oh, you know what? That's the other thing right now. When did that switch? Okay. So we're not Europe. We're international now. International. Which is fine because it still is coming up with the right comic. And they're still worth like, there's one here that sold for $13, but honestly, the $4 one, the $2 one seems more realistic, and the $13 one sold as new. And then the listed ones are like $4 to $3. So, And is that? Yeah, that's this one right here. The biggest problem is if you drive a long distance. Yeah. Wouldn't buy one for that. But I've seen people online. You can like plan your route out, right? Like it'll tell you how far you can go, and it'll tell you where the charge station is, and it'll like lay out the entire route based off of the fact that you need to charge the car, which I think, right? Or like, do they all have that? It just seemed like it was very smart in that way, where it's going to take you so far and it knows it needs to charge. It's not going to take you too far away from a charger. It seemed very smart. Ottawa. Yeah. That's what I thought. Vancouver, do you go to professional estate sales or just private ones? I find the private ones are crazy here. Carl, I go to both. Yeah, it can be hit or miss sometimes. Yeah. Like most things. So what are we at? Still 93. Okay, so it's like I thought I just did September, but there's early September and early September. This is 54 September. I don't know if I need all that information, but that's just the way I've been doing it. So that's this one. See, so it's the same deal. There's always some guy who's trying to sell it for like $10, and everybody else is around 3 or 4, and then you see a sold one for 4. It's just the odd one that you'll grab, and it's worth decent money. So like what I should be doing then, obviously I'm just going to go continue to do this because I'm crazy, apparently. But what I should be doing then is just go Justice League International, 1993, search solds for the entire thing, and then look for the high ones and see if I have it. That would make the most sense. And that's, like I said, I'm already doing this. I'm having a good time doing it, so I don't really care. It's kind of interesting. Like I said, it feels a little bit like gambling, where you just like you pull the handle and you kind of see what happens. But so for the sake of today, I'm just going to keep doing it this way. But I feel like sorting them that way and searching that way seems like makes a lot of sense, really, the more and more I think about it. Both can be hit or miss, right? I drove to London, Ontario last summer. It was a pain to have charged. Okay. What did you do in London? Like did you go to the Goodwill Bins, or did you visit family or something, or just, London's not super touristy place unless there's something there that I'm not aware of. Like there are a couple things, but nothing crazy. What brought you to London? States feel like only learning thing. Yeah. Certainly do. State sales, the only ones I've ever been to, I'm still wind up looking for the same thing. I'm looking for like VCRs and like looking through the clothing and stuff. But it's so rare to find one where those let you walk through. Most of the time they're online anymore, or they'll like bring everything to a company who will like try to liquidate it. The odd one, someone will have it in their time, they'll have it in their house. But I don't know, this area I just don't seem to have that many. To a wedding. Oh yeah, found 3 toner cartridges while I was there. Paid for the trip. Oh, nice. But then didn't you recently say you had problem with toner cartridges getting like a Vero or something like that? Or maybe you were afraid that they potentially could be Vero products? I've sold tons of ink and cartridges and stuff, but I think I remember on your podcast you saying something about maybe you're slowing down on those just for that reason. Or maybe it's just like the HP brand or something like that, because I listen. But even though I listen, a lot of information goes in one ear or the other. So I retain enough information to remember something happened, but I don't remember what happened. 56 is what we're looking at right now. Does not look promising. Let's see here. What happened there? Well, that would be the one that you want. What is that? It's got to be super old. Oh, it showed me this 10-cent comic. I got excited for like half a second. So it showed me Brave and the Bold Justice League 29, which is nothing like what I have. It sold for $368, 33 bids. So it was actually even auctioned. But this is like a legitimate 10-cent Justice League of America comic. It was graded at a 3.5, so not even graded high. So those are the ones that you want, are the old ones. And I knew that. Like, that's not a surprise to me. But why that would come up with what I have, the only words that would be similar would be Justice League and Justice League and CGC. And for some reason that came up. I don't know why. All right. Like the graphic on this one. It's cool. Boy, some getting behind on comments here. Okay. Yep. See a lot of grandma's clothes when I go. Yeah. But if grandma was cool and like the Grateful Dead or something, you'd have something. You never know. You never know what people have or have tucked away or anything. Plus, you can like think of things like some quilts are worth a lot of money if it's just like older people's, like an older person's home. Quilts or like the old granny blankets and stuff can do okay. Don't bother preview photos. There's nothing I want. Okay, that's smart. Take a look online first. To a wedding. Oh yeah. So I must have missed part of that. Inkjet cartridges were bureaued. Oh, okay. Yep. Toner's all good. So is an inkjet for? I see you answer. I was going to ask a question, but you answered it. HP. I thought it was something like that. Vancouver. I need some more pictures. Yep, that's helpful. Do you go line up for first day? Okay, yeah, I've seen. Yeah, I'm interested to see what he says here because I would think first day would be busy, but the longer you're gonna get better deals near the end. You just are. But interesting. You should go later to pick them up. I said on the cheaper, sometimes get items for free. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that makes sense. First day off the hop, unless there's something you really, really want. I'm thinking things are going to be expensive, right? Makes sense. Makes like any type of sale. The longer it goes, the cheaper they get. Just like with these comics, the guy wanted a lot more money, and I basically told him to call me when his garage sale was over, and he. In a nice way, I said, when you come back to Earth on what you think these things are worth, call me. And I probably would buy them, even though I don't know anything about them. But if I didn't buy them, I wouldn't be here right now with you guys talking about basements and talked about whales earlier. Fed my cat some treats, some kitties, some estate sale information. Wait, I can't believe we're at the 240 mark. I definitely could not. So this is fine for a live stream. I definitely could not work on a regular basis with. This is why you get in trouble at work when you're working with like your friends and stuff, because I could probably been through this box by now, right? Because I'm talking to you guys and interested in conversation. And I didn't put. See, now you mess up your job. You don't do the job right, and forgot to put a cardboard thing in here. This is why you're not allowed to work with your friends at work, right? Because that's fun. You want to, if you have to go to a regular job, you want to work with your friends so you can talk about stuff that you like. Talk about if you like sports, you can talk about sports. If you like video games, you can talk about video games. You know, whatever it is that you're into. If you like messing around with your garden, you can talk to your friends about gardening. It doesn't really matter, but you find those people, and it makes your job tolerable, right? So, but as you can see, it also slows down your production, which is why management will crack down on you. You know, so you gotta keep management happy. Right. I think we went through that. Just seeing where we are in creation information. Yep. Definitely. Okay. Good thing there's no management here today, so we can keep goofing off and just doing the bare minimum. Okay, 1993, December. So this is Justice League International 59, 1993. This one's got a couple that are listed at a okay number. But, well, there's one sold for $13. Then one that sold for $2. I wouldn't get super excited about that. Like, who knows what happened there? If I look at it, they're saying it's new, other from the United States, probably free shipping. Crazy what people miss at estate sales sometimes. I saw a lot of antique cufflinks that nobody wanted. Cufflinks, like the little for like a shirt, like a cuffling like that. Asking last day of the day. Okay. I assume that's what you mean. I know some of those can be good, but I don't know much about those at all. It's funny when you talk to different people and what they sell and what they're interested in. You know, you do learn about different things. $5. Turns out a lot whoa. Okay. So a lot of them are like 10K, like 10 carat or 10,000. What are we talking about? Like carats, like they're gold cufflinks. I sold a cufflink for scrap. Okay, so yeah, gold, right? I had a buddy here. I think it's the Flipping Dad on Instagram. Also, another guy who goes to the Goodwill bins from London, Ontario, and he had found at a yard sale somebody's gold tooth or gold fillings or something, and he removed it and he got, I forget it, a couple $100 for somebody's like gold tooth or part of a gold tooth. Yeah, so gold can be pretty nuts. I'm sure if you go find the Flipping Dad on Instagram, I'm sure he posted it as like an actual post. I don't think it was just in a story. You could probably go see it. It's just a weird little piece of tooth that he got some pretty good money from that he found at a yard sale. I'm pretty sure he paid like nothing for. So Justice League 57 from 1993, Justice League International 57, 1993. I only see a couple listed for about $5. We're really striking out here. I almost feel like if I wasn't so deep into Justice League at the moment, I'd go grab a different box and try something different, but I'm not really so deep into this one. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Bad for $5. Oh, yeah. See, there we go. Missed that one. Not bad for $5 investment. And absolutely, that is awesome. All right. So we're on to number 58. I do like the graphics better on these ones, though. They're cool. All right. So we got number 58, November. All right. Let's see anything crazy here. See anywhere from $4 to $8 listed. And then I don't see a single one sold in the last 90 days. So I'm not about to go for these type of things. I'm not about to go on Terapeak and deep dive them. So yeah, stamps, hard to find, but oh yeah, the loop or whatever is like a little magnifying glass, whatever that is. That's cool. This one's got, this is number 60. It's got a cool cover. Definitely a couple in here again. So these oversized ones are so annoying because I can't really even, I mean, I could keep them, I guess. I just feel like if I'm going through this much effort, I might as well just put them in a new sleeve because they're not worth a ton of money. And the big ones they're just like sloppy in there. I don't even feel like they're protecting anything. I don't even know how much it matters, you know. But, so we got number 60 and 61. I bet my hands would be shaking. Yeah, me too. That'd be pretty exciting. Never really found that I know of. I've never really found anything gold. Yeah, paid and ran out fast. Yeah, I've had that with other things too, where you found something really good and at a yard sale, and you just almost feel like that, like you want to just pay and get out of there before they change their mind, right? I couldn't imagine the gold or something that you knew was worth crazy money, or you're pretty sure at in the moment that you found something good. Yeah, I'm sure your heart would be racing for sure. Yeah, definitely. All right, so we got 62 or 60, 62, and 61. We still in now we're in, yeah, these are 1994. Should make sure that's correct too. 60. March 94. What did I put in here? First of all, 60. Okay, I'm looking at a different one, is why I was a bit confused. The one I was looking at. So a couple listed higher. So there's a listed for 20 and 10, and my camera's the other way. 20 and 10. I don't. Still doesn't feel like this one's going to be anything special. Yeah, no. Nothing special. The thrill and the rush. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's right. That's kind of what's exciting about this. I remember just talking to somebody at the bins who was saying that they were kind of thinking about getting out of clothing because that was one of the problems. They were like, if I find it like something really great, I don't really get excited like I used to. It just is a bit of whatever. And hearing him talk about that concerned me a little bit. You can always switch, right? So like if you kind of niche down and you're just in one thing, which I'm not, I try to do all kinds of things, but I know most people who watch my channel consider me just a clothing seller, but I try to do a little bit of everything. But yeah, if you just did one thing and you got bored of it, it didn't excite you anymore, even when you found the exciting thing, I don't want to get to that point. So I think trying to do different things, or I think for me, it's important. This one looks like it could be a little bit better. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, but there's still no really sold one of this one. Let's double check. But yeah, that'd be depressing or sad. At least, not to get excited about it anymore. It just seems like, oh, whatever, Oops. I missed something here. What's the hardest thing you've ever shipped? And what's the easiest thing? Hello from Sudbury, Ontario. Hey, what's up, Rosemary? Rosemary Sparkle. The easiest thing I ever shipped was I like when you get like a brand new in box anything that's got, so like for instance, recently I just shipped a Sirius XM boom box, and it's an original box, and I literally I have these big poly bags that you can slide over, so I slid the big poly bag over, taped it up, and that's it. You print a label out for it, and away you go. You don't have to really pack it. It's already in the original. So anything in original packaging that you can just do something like that with, super easy. Clothing is obviously super easy as well. Hardest thing to pack, probably CRT televisions, because you're dealing with something that's like 40 pounds, 50 pounds. I don't think 50 pounds. That even 30 pounds might be overkill. I feel like right in the 30 to 40 pound mark is right. But you got to put them in a box. You got to make sure nothing's going to break and it gets there. So packing those, I used to always put pool noodles in the corners, but I found a different way, more effective, which is packing paper and bubble wrap. Sometimes I'll throw other things in there if I feel like it's a more breakable item or TV. But yeah, I think heavy breakable items like that, for me, those would be probably the hardest one to ship. Glass, most glass stuff, you can be pretty safe if you pack right double box. But yeah, I think TVs can be tricky. Yeah, the hunt's most of fun, I think. Yeah, when you lose that, right? If you lose the fun of the hunt, or even when you find stuff and you don't get the same thrill, it's kind of that'd be disappointing for sure. I don't always get excited. There's lots of things I pick up that are bread and butter items that I don't get excited about, but I'm happy when I go home because I have those things to list, and I know that's like the backbone of your business. You're not always going to find crazy things all the time, or there's lots of times of things that I like to find that aren't even worth a lot of money that I just like to find. Yeah. I hate shipping a globe. Oh yeah, I don't know if I've ever shipped a globe before, but I imagine it'd be pretty annoying. It's a weird shape and it moves. Yeah. My favorite thing to ship is books and DVDs. I hate shipping anything fragile. Yeah, books and DVDs are easy, right? Because they're already in a case. It's pretty easy. Slide them in a poly mailer or a padded envelope, and away they go. Yeah, fragile stuff. If it's not too big, one of the ways you can ensure things are going to be safer is if you can double box. So if you had a small breakable item, pack it nicely in the first box, and then just get a slightly bigger box and pack packing paper in between to fill the voids. And that'll cover you, because the first box is going to take most of the damage. And if anything happens, it's already padded in the second box. If it's not going to add too much weight, that's what I would do. And it'll take your stress away because chances are you're not going to have anything break like that. Always possible. Somebody could step on it, jump on it, boot it off a truck. But just in regular shipping, should be okay. Shipping magazines, yeah. We're dealing with them right now. Comic book magazines here. So probably somebody hates the fact that I just said comic book magazine, but I did. Magazines are great, easy. Golf, head covers. Yep. All easy stuff, good stuff. Anything you can throw in a bum mailer is awesome. I agree. Yeah. Trying to think, like a mug. You put a mug in one? Is that what you'd ship in one, Carl? Probably not. You could though. I don't think it'd make it that far. You could try. You can burn out for sure. Yeah. Some days I feel like that's a possibility. Yeah, I think burnout is definitely a real thing in reselling, especially when you feel like you need to, and it's not just that you want to or that it's fun. Because I think everybody gets into this because it's fun and it's a fun hobby, and then you can make some money, and that's exciting. But like anything, I think when it just becomes a job, maybe you don't want to do it every day. But if you're relying on the money, maybe you have to. It's why a full-time certainly probably isn't for everybody. And so far, I'm only a year into full-time. And, it's got its days where I don't love it, and there's lots of days that I absolutely love it. But I love working for myself. I'm pretty good at being self-motivated, but I do think burnout is a real thing. I get tired of listing. I'll go for a walk, 30-minute refresh. Yeah. How many things do you list at a time? Are you drafting things up? Or are you listing? Oh, we got another. Oh no, there's multiples. I thought it was another annual edition one. Are you listing like a ton at a time? I try to do that sometimes, and then just leave them in draft, because I don't typically. I make sure every day I list 5 things, no matter what. Other than that, though, I might list some more things, but I'd more than likely, if I was going to list, they'd be put in draft so that they would be there available for later. If I had a day where I couldn't list or didn't want to list, or something came up, or if I just wanted to have a day where I listed a bunch. Vancouver, what's your typical number per day that you actually will list live, or do you just, when you list, they go live, you don't draft them? Everybody kind of thinks of that a little differently, but so we're working with 60, 63, and 64 here. Pre-drafts. All right, so let's see. Pre-draft 50 listings plus for the week. Schedule them. Oh, you schedule. Yeah, smart. I think my buddy John schedules listings too, or sets them up and drops, which We're probably cutting into that, are we? I shouldn't do that. I'll remember in the future not to do that. So at 4:00, the A to Z Reseller Podcast. If anybody listens to that, me and my buddy John, Reselling with John, that's at 4:00 today. So that would have just happened. I didn't expect to be doing this for 3 hours, so I guess that's fair too. But I'm still doing it for a little bit. I think I said my wife, if you want to talk about Borat. No, she hasn't messaged me. Usually she'll let me know when she's on her way. Do have some other messages, but they can wait while we do this. Still got a few more to go. That's why I don't miss a day for listing. Yeah, because you got them drafted and scheduled. Cool. The only reason why I don't schedule is because I list on eBay. Depends on the item, obviously, right? eBay first, Poshmark Canada, Poshmark US, Depop. Some items go on Facebook Marketplace. I had been selling on other platforms like Etsy and Vinted. I don't sell on Vinted, doesn't exist. I got kicked off Etsy, so I don't sell on Etsy anymore. I'd be open to selling on other platforms too. I like to cross list. It's pretty simple. So it's hard because if you were to draft those, I'd have to go back in the drafts and then relist them anyway. I don't know of a way to automate to list all those different platforms, but I know on eBay you can schedule and have it drop your listings if that's what you're doing. That's really cool. So this is the one we're looking at right now. I haven't found anything good in a while. That's kind of crappy. Well, I don't know why. I look at this one a little better. There's one sold, so I might just take a look. So I'm sure most people watching this would know. I'm just going to copy and then paste the actual listing back to eBay. I'm going to take the word nice out because it doesn't need to say nice. Okay. I'm going to re-look this one up. Sold completed. I still only see the one that sold for $34, and then I don't see any more of this one. If I wanted to, I'm not too convinced that it's not like crazy. I mean, 63. I mean, I'll write down 63. I might go back and just take a little deeper dive, but honestly, I don't think there's anything there. See where we are here. Just gonna go for a walk. That's why I don't miss any listings. Heard Etsy change something. They did. I don't know what they changed. I think they did make the listing. It's harder to list for sure. That's what I've heard too. I haven't tried to list because I don't have an Etsy account anymore. That other one was a variation, a different variation. That's why it was different. Yeah, I've heard that. So I got booted off of Etsy because of if you watch this channel, you've probably heard me talk about it for a month straight because I wouldn't shut up about it. But I finally did. But I was selling brand new tags jerseys, which you weren't supposed to do. Not supposed to sell any brand new items on there. They didn't seem to mind until it mattered. My own fault. So happens when you listen to people sometimes. I should have knew better and I didn't, and that was that. This one looks like it could be another dud, but yeah, I did hear they changed something with the listing. I've heard people complain about that. Haven't paid too much attention just because it said like I don't sell on there anymore. So there's an $8 and a $2. So I'm still going to say that's sort of on the dud side of it. I stick to eBay, 2 eBay stores and Facebook Marketplace. That's enough for me. It's part-time. That's cool. 2 eBay stores, like on .com and .ca, or both on .ca, both on .com. Why 2 stores? That's my first round of questions. I think I'll go for another 20 minutes here. So if you want to hang out, that's cool. At 5, I definitely need to, like I said earlier, I need to switch over the laundry. For sure. These ones are cool. Justice League Task Force. Also Mortal Kombat 1993 in the back. Excellent game. So 1, 2, and 3. I see 4 in there in the next pile. Something different at least. These could be cool. All right. first things first, let's get these in a little nicer bag and in their individual bags. These ones look cool, but like we said before, looks doesn't really seem to matter. You're gonna dream about Justice League tonight. Probably. Dreams are so weird too. I typically don't remember dreams a lot, which I think most people don't. But the ones that I do are always like so intense. Man, it's crazy. I mean, those are probably the ones that you would remember because they're so weird. But yeah, dreaming is definitely odd. I usually remember when I have like a shorter time to sleep. That's usually when I have like really crazy or vivid dreams. But yeah. Both eBay Canada stores. I use one for shipping items without tracking. Oh. Yep, makes sense. Yep. Definitely makes sense. Just out of curiosity, the store that you use with no tracking, what is your seller rating? Is it still good? Or are you still like above average? What's your feedback rate? I'd imagine it's still good. Like most times, you know, you don't really have a problem with letter mail, but the odd time you do, right? Justice League Task Force. That's not Task Force 1. This is from June. I don't know if I really need June in there, but June of 93. It just fell over in here. Let's slide these back. I said earlier, I don't know if I get through this box, and then we're doing pretty good. So listed on these ones, a little better. Or this one, that's issue 1. I kind of was hoping this one would be better than what we've seen. Let's just look here. Above average, smaller store, sell mostly non-tracked items. Okay. It's still good feedback too, though, right? Like, I'm just wondering how that's working out. Sounds like good, though. Makes sense why you would do that for sure. CGC. So I see this one listed, but I don't see. What I do see is one that's sold with 1, 2, 3, and 4 right there. Okay. I don't see an individual one listed that's sold. So potentially, okay, well, here's somebody who has 1 through 30 something, 37. Oh, you know what? What do I got? That one looks crazy. Got a few. I don't think I have through 37, but anyway, 1 through 4. I know I have those. That could be $18 or something right there. I'll likely do that when I sort them, but you know, I will look these up just to be sure. So that's sort of how these wind up making sense after, you know, I've spent 3 hours and potential of making like $100. Not great, but then I will sell these individually or sell them in lots. So I'll make more money just on the individuals. It's not been a great go here so far. Okay. Everything from the main store's tracked. Yeah, cool. That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. 100% feedback on both stores. Excellent. I think my main store is at 99.3. I got 2 negatives on there still and a neutral or something. But my other store is 100%. My .com is 100%. Yeah. So cool. It's good if you can keep it at 100. It's awesome. I also have a backup e-store in case I get some weird Vero. The problem though with is it's nice to have a backup store, but when they do like a Vero where they permanently suspend, because if you go back on my YouTube channel, I had a permanent suspension just before COVID. And I did get it reimbursed, but it took a lot of work and a lot of communication because they thought I was selling stuff that was from an Amazon return pallet, from a liquidation company, and they wanted receipts for everything. And I had to eventually, after a long time of talking and going through stuff, I had to prove that this was all from liquidation and that I had an invoice from it and that I, wasn't itemized. But luckily I had a YouTube video of, the stuff that I grabbed and whatever. It worked out that I got my store back. But what they actually do is IP ban you. So they take your internet provider, they ban you. They also ban, like, if you have to provide your SIN number or driver's license, like they totally just try to keep you off their website. There's probably workarounds, but just a second store probably wouldn't necessarily be it. But hopefully that's never the case for you or for anybody watching this. Obviously that's not what anybody's trying to do, but it is crazy. It's just, yeah. I forget if that was a Vero or what it was, why mine got took down. I just think they thought that I had stolen stuff, which I didn't. I went from having listings to just started flooding my store with like brand new stuff, and they didn't like it. 99.4, someone complained and said I canceled, which was true. I said I canceled. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. I think 99.4 is respectful. I think anything like, as long as it's a valid reason or you take ownership or at least you can leave a comment now on what happened. If you're at fault, just admit that you're wrong in the feedback part of it that you can leave. If the other person's unreasonable, definitely just tell your side of the story. I don't think you have to have perfect feedback, but I think 99.4 is pretty good. I'd be happy with that for sure. Yeah, that would suck. Yes. Yep. I have got a Vero on a few things where they just took the items down and stuff, but I've never had a Vero where they tried to shut my store down exactly. So, but it's possible. You never know. Never know what eBay's going to try to do. I remember having to send a receipt once. Yep. Exactly. Sometimes they do ask, and it's a weird thing, right? Like, yeah. Speaking of lost parcels, I've had 2 in the last week. Both are tracked packages with Grand Advantage. Okay. Where'd you buy the labels through? Like Chit Chat or Stallion or something like that? Or does eBay, because eBay doesn't give Grand Advantage now, do they? They don't have like USPS now. It's all still Canada Post. Or was that, maybe it was UPS, maybe. I should go back and look what you said. No, Grand Advantage, United States Postal Service. eBay labels. eBay labels has Grand Advantage now. I should revisit eBay labels. Every once in a while I'll look at eBay, but because I just use a third-party shipper so often, it doesn't necessarily cross my mind that often. Yeah, so this is number 2, by the way. Same thing. Yeah, and I don't see anything crazy with that one. It just, same deal. Seems like lotting up the first 4 could make you about $20. Or if I had more, that would make sense too. So now we're in number 3 in August. Okay, so here's number 3. And it's like one there that sold for $6. You see the same lot of 4, one that sold for $1. eBay labels tracked from eBay goes Grand Advantage. But it's okay. But is it still through Canada Post technically? Like you drop it off Canada Post, right? Even though it's because Grand Advantage is technically United States Postal Service. But maybe that's what they do with Canada Post. It sounds so crazy because I sell daily on eBay, but I don't use eBay labels anymore. So sometimes some of that stuff just goes over my head because it's not, maybe I should revisit it for sure. That'd make a lot of sense. Should look into eBay track package to the US. It's pretty cheap. It is. The only reason, so sometimes some of that stuff is cheaper, but if I want to sell on Poshmark.com, I have to go to Stallion no matter what, because there's no other way to get my actual United States Postal Service labels from Poshmark.com across the border without a cross-border shipper. It just wouldn't work. Yeah, so that's sort of one of the reasons why I never really think too much. I do, if I want to get something out fast and I don't care if it's $1 or $2 difference, I'll just use eBay or Canada Post or whatever. But for the most part, it just makes so much more sense for me to just go through Stallion, because I have to use it anyway because of Poshmark. If it wasn't for Poshmark, I could definitely revisit just using eBay, and it might save me a lot of headaches. But Poshmark.com, I know a lot of people have a lot of hate on Poshmark and say it doesn't make them that much money and this, that, or the other thing. But listen, like the last 3 vacations I went on, whether it be, a weekend, 3 or 4 days in May with my wife to go to ballparks and stuff like that. Last year, we did 2 different Disney trips. We just did a trip to the East Coast. The majority of that is from Poshmark.com, because I don't touch the money from that. It sits in a totally different account. And then, when I go to do something, that money's just there. Obviously, you still got to pay tax on the money. It's not free money or anything like that. But I really wouldn't want to give it up, because for me, that particular platform, it's just money I don't touch, and it just sits there until we want to do something. So, yeah, I'd hate to give it up. Yeah, drop off with Canada Post. Yeah, okay. But yeah, I'll have to look. I can still look up labels anyway. I'll just look up next time I go to ship something. I'll just run it through eBay, because every once in a while I will. Like I was using Expedited Light, but that seemed to creep up in price. Has anybody else noticed that eBay's Expedited Light is sort of creeped back up in price a bit? All right, seems like it to me. Canada Post, lost a parcel. Yeah. I don't think you're paranoid though, Carl. I don't know. Too many. I think sometimes there's too many with eBay, and when they've got these different deals with companies, it's like almost like too many hands in the cookie jar. To a pound to the US is under $8. That's good. I mean, that's a really good rate. Can't complain with that at all. Not at all. That's what they need, though. I mean, if eBay wants to be serious about having Canadian sellers, they need a good deal with Canada Post, because you can't compete with USPS unless somebody's willing to play ball. So it's cool. It's cool that they're making deals like that, and hopefully sticks around for sure. So this is, again, I was going to call it episode 6, but this is issue 6, November 93. I do have 4 or 5, so we do have 1 through 6 currently. I don't know why I chose to look up 6 first. So currently I could list 1 through 6 and see how that goes. This one, is sold for a couple of dollars. Seems like my best bet still on these ones would be just lot up whatever I have in order here. How are we doing for time? Still got a few minutes. Let's revisit this. eBay Canada light package is amazing. Man, so I thought it was better before. Last time I tried to ship a video game with them, with the expedited light package, I feel like they tried to charge me like $8 or something still, which I'm not complaining about that. I know I can get it a little cheaper other ways, or ship it with stamps cheaper, I guess. I don't know. It's tracked for $8. I guess it's fair. Maybe I'm just nitpicking over a few dollars, but it depends on what you're selling, I suppose. No more $25 shipping remotes to Newfoundland. Oh, yeah, for sure. That's true. Yes. So the expedited light you can ship to Newfoundland for cheap too. It doesn't like jump up in price because it's not like flat. It's not a flat rate still though, right? It's still somewhat by distance. The 13 bucks max. Okay. I mean, that's still reasonable, right? That's a pretty good rate. Like I said, if it wasn't for my need for cross-border shipper, it would probably save me the money and gas driving up to London twice a week. But then again, I like to source at the Goodwill bins. If I didn't have the Goodwill bins, I'd be running around to a lot more little thrift stores trying to find enough stuff, you know. So there's some good and bad, I guess. eBay labels is beating out my cross-border shipper. That's cool. That's good to know. Like I said, I should revisit it. Definitely. I've been wanting to do, and I've got notes in my phone for like an updated let's talk about shipping in Canada video. Mine is pretty old at this point, and I get a lot of people comment on it and send me messages on it, and I'm like, oh man, that is from so long ago. Whatever I said, I'd have to go back and watch it. Whatever I said in that video a couple of years ago wouldn't be relevant now. So that's the problem sometimes when you make a video about a topic like that it can change like so drastically in such a little amount of time. Hey, Secondhand Maple. Hey, man, what is up? Usually see you over on Scott's show, which this Sunday I'm going to be a guest on Scott's show if you're going to be around for that show. Yeah, so this is, which one are we on net? This is number 4. Same thing. A couple of dollars. Not very good. We haven't found anything really great, have we? Found, like I said, we're in a limited run now, 1 through 6 at this point. I see whatever. It's the same series, but I see we're at 10 over there. Maybe to Vancouver. Shipping is always changing. Yeah, it is. I mean, luckily at the moment, it's for us, for the most part, it's changing for the better, right? Which is cool. It's probably, let me get through these comments. It's probably the last one. Going yard selling in the morning, you know it. If it's not raining, I will be there. I can't beat the sun, but I'll hopefully beat other people. So as soon as the sun's up, I'll be out. Stamps. Whew. How do you figure out how many stamps? So you can go to the Canada Post website, and it tells you per grams how many stamps or how much money you would need to put. I would tell you what I think it is, but I know it's wrong because it just changed. So I don't want to give you the wrong information. The last time I used stamps, I actually sent a message to my buddy John because I know he's got a spreadsheet, and I asked him and he told me and sent me the spreadsheet, but I don't have it handy. Otherwise I'd kind of look. But that's what you go to Canada Post or Google it, and it'll tell you per how many stamps it would take per weight. Although I believe the Canada Post website is out of date and it doesn't say the correct weight. Right at the post office. So if you go in, they should be able to tell you or give you a printout. I would say a DVD, a video game, something along those lines is roughly going to cost you maybe $2.40, something like that. I don't know. That's me guesstimating just in the moment. Same thing with this one. Just looked it up. About $3. Cool. So I'm going to catch up on comments here. We are edging up to 5 o'clock and the 3-hour and 23-minute mark of this live stream. eBay's trying to compete with all third-party shippers. Yeah, take chit chats out of business. Yep. Why wouldn't they? They should. The only problem is when they run them out of business, what are they going to do? Are they going to revert and go back to slowly charging us more money until you can't compete? It's good that they want to be competitive, but it's not good if they just take over the market because then they control the market again on that sort of thing. So, I mean, as long as they keep those, I mean, Canada Post is not going to change their ways. They're going to cost what they cost, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely good for eBay, but it is scary to think if eBay becomes the best rates and you can't beat them, then the marketplace, it just seems like that's kind of dangerous too. But I'm glad eBay's doing better. Where am I headed? I think there's like 4 little community sales really close to me. I'm gonna check those out first. The places are called Frogmore, Cultus, Glenmire. These are all very, very tiny towns that you've never heard of, I'm sure. So I'm going to check out those community sales first, and then I'll probably head towards Tillsonburg, Ontario. I typically do well there. So, yeah. Usually go to London. There are a few good ones to St. Thomas. Haven't dug out your route yet. So you do like a route. That's cool. That's actually really cool. Yeah, I've never really tried. I've heard St. Thomas can be good. I've never get that far though. I should make a point to go in that way, but I just have so much luck in like the little honey hole places that I go. Seem to be pretty consistent. Why can't we purchase lettermail postage with Canada Post? Or you can't. You have to use for lettermail. I think you have to use stamps. I don't think there's another option. There might be like an on-track option you can pick through them, but it's never doesn't give you that option when you even go to the website. Last time I checked, there was no, there wasn't. Silly. Sure is. It's been years, though. Should check again. Would love to. Yeah. Right now, I'm looking at buying a storage unit. Have you ever considered buying a bunch of inventory all at once? Yep. Not ever done a storage unit, but I've bought like an entire garage full of stuff from different people a couple of different times. I've bought people's eBay stores out. I've bought wholesale liquidation pallets. Made private deals with people where I've bought collections. It's great. You get a whole bunch of stuff all at once. But if you really enjoy sourcing, it's maybe not so great because you need to get this stuff listed to make your money back. And there's some good and bad with it. It's nice to have a lot of inventory all at once, though. That's one of the big pluses. Should double team sometime. Yeah. Hit me up on Instagram. You're not far. Definitely, we can go do some yard sailing. I'd appreciate some company. It'd probably be a lot of fun, to be honest. I usually do go by myself or my wife. If she has the morning off, we'll go. But yeah, hit me up. Definitely interested. Carl, I think you can in the US. Yeah, I think you can too. I think we're just over the 5 p.m. I really could stay here for another 3.5 hours, but I got to clean this mess up. It's fish and chips night as well. Maybe wings. I haven't decided yet. I'm excited that we're going to go for dinner, and I'm going to have a couple of beers and wake up early in the morning, go yard sailing. Should be fun. I always enjoy my Friday nights. So yeah, heading down to Port Rowan, Ontario. If anybody's from the area and you've never been down there, there's a couple of nice little places you can go. Stamps. Yep. Thanks for the show. Well, I don't know what kind of show it was. It was a little disappointing. Didn't find a lot. Found a few things. I think we're on the right track. Look at this, though. This was full when we started. Okay. Just over half. I feel like I could have did a lot more than that, but oops, it just fell over. Anyway, go have dinner. Nice chatting with everybody. Thanks. Yeah, thank you guys for coming in. Appreciate it. I'm very surprised this went nearly 3.5 hours. Didn't expect that. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks so much. I'm going to jump out of here, and we'll see you soon.